Cubs Radio. Cubs Radio.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. Yay! It's January 31st. It is the Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Are we working? Coming at you live. Is it working? I don't hear it.
Yeah, I hear
it. Hello. Oh, my headphones are a little messed up. Coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Nice to see you all. Again, it's Friday. GovsRadio.com, all the great shows at GovsRadio.com, including us. It's Friday. We're here. Look at this. It's like a party in here today. Because I'm so used to being by myself. Sallie's here. She's back. She's still...
I live.
Yeah, but you still don't sound 100%. I'm a little scared.
No,
I
think
you're
going
to get sick.
I don't... No, I'm not contagious at all.
Well, I don't believe you. But not only that...
Can I sit down here?
We'll get you a mask. Tom Galati is here, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Galati is here. Very excited to have Tom with us. One of our newer members of our extended family here at the Knockem Comedy Radio Show.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys too.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just sharing and stuff. So, but we're happy you're here, pal.
Thank you. It's fun to be here in the studio and see you guys after watching you for a while, and it's fun to be in Levittown. As you guys know, I grew up in Hicksville, and a lot of memories right here in Levittown on Hempstead Turnpike, Tri-County Mall right here. Going there and buying a double heart ring upstairs in the jewelry department. You know?
Is that
the best friend necklaces? The and
my orthodontist was right here on Division Avenue, Dr. Ostreicher.
Oh, good old Dr. Ostreicher.
You can see that my teeth are still straight, Dr. Ostreicher.
Do you still have to wear a retainer?
I do not. But I remember I stopped wearing it for a little while because it was starting, it was hurting. I guess, your teeth want to move back a little bit. And I remember my father, flipping out on me after spending thousands of dollars on orthodonture appliances in my mouth.
Right.
And saying, the first time I pay for it, the next time you pay for it.
Wow.
So I started wearing it again.
Yeah. But you don't anymore?
No.
Now it's because my kid just went through the Invisalign stuff, and so he has a retainer that he used to wear every night. And he's like, well, how long do I have to wear this? He's like, forever. And he's like, what? So it's nice to know when you get older. He was lying.
Yeah.
Jeff Posey's watching. Jeff said he's happy to see we have a guest because he took the day off. Jeff, you didn't take the day off. You're sick. I know. I heard all about it.
Jeff is sick?
Jeff, see what you did? See what you did to Jeff?
Yeah, people keep blaming me, but here's the thing. Even Gina last night, she's like, I have a cold. It's your fault. I'm like, Gina, I saw you yesterday. It takes 4 days. And this is what I said. It's true. It takes 4 days for a virus to hit your body for you to even know you're sick. Trust me on this.
That's why Tom is here. He's a doctor, and he's going to tell you you're wrong.
You don't get it, hug someone, and you're like, oh, I have the flu. It's your fault. So I told her to freaking blame someone else.
Look all this, I can see the germs on the microphone. Look what you did. See, I even touched it.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Let's not forget Jeff and forget Gina. You know what you did. Last week we saw the Spin Doctors. As you guys know, Mark White is a good friend of ours.
Yes.
They played the Brooklyn Bowl last night, as a matter of fact. So I'm waiting Bonnie, where's Bonnie? I'm wanting to get
Bonnie
a.
shared some videos last night.
Oh, she did. I got to look.
Facebook.
All right,
Oh, did she?
You know
Yeah.
what? We'll play them later. Because I'm anxious to hear about her experience there.
I have two Princes stuck in my head right now after watching some.
Don't we
video
all?
clips. They sounded
Don't
great.
we all? Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
They're a great band.
Yeah,
But
I've
we
had
went-
two printers stuck somewhere else. Go ahead,
Well, yeah,
go
you
ahead.
had two.
No, check
You
this
had
out.
two doctors stuck in you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to the show on Saturday, and
Uh-huh.
she was, sick.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was sick.
Yeah.
The next day, I was like, oh, I think I'm sick.
So we watched the show.
Maybe I should have called in today.
Right?
Or
Sit on the phone with you for
brought
an
a
hour.
coronavirus mask.
So we, we do the show. We go to their show. Had a great time. They did a great concert. Sunday comes and goes. We're back in here on Monday. Well, some of us are back in here on Monday.
Not me.
Get Mark White on the phone. The band, because they played on Saturday in Huntington, playing the Brooklyn Bowl last night, so they were all together in this, for a few days. So they decided to do some recording, or so they thought. Monday comes.
couldn't.
Their lead singer was sick with a bad cold,
Yeah.
and we were backstage.
Oh, yeah.
And there was, amount of time where I didn't know where you were.
You don't want to
Or
point
him.
any fingers or anything.
No,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. No.
fingers being the
In
operative
fairness to
word,
me,
the-
and
the main word
I
there.
didn't watch the show when Chris was on. Did she talk about the lead singer and his package?
No, we did not talk
She
about
didn't.
that.
Okay, so I get a text from Chris during the concert. She's like, Can you even believe that package?" So Tony's like, "What does that even mean?" I'm like, "It means the lead singer doesn't wear underwear."
Yeah, we were pretty close to the stage, and
Yeah, and they had them on. And this, I don't know if you talked about this too, and I don't know how Mark feels about this, but what the fuck, like Mark's like an amazing bass player to watch. It's just fun watching him. And like a lot of bass players, and I don't need to make his head bigger, but like shut up. You know how
she can't even speak. Look at this.
as soon
Talking
as
about Mark White's penis.
as soon as I said
Is
it, I
it
was
hot
like,
in here?
oh, there's
Just
gonna be
Sallie.
a lot of jokes. Like a lot of bass players, they just they're like dong 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 dong, and then there's Flea, who's he's just amazing to watch. Like that's what Mark's like. Like Mark has solos. He's so great. And then when you actually you're at the concert and you can see on the TV, they'll put TVs, close-ups for people that are sitting far away.
Right.
They never freaking show him, ever. And he's actually complained about that with videos that they made back in the day. They don't let the black guy on or something. He's like, no, they don't let the black guy on the video. That's for sure. There'll be little glimmers of him. And even that
That's
night,
why he just calls in. We don't want him in, on our screen.
but even that night, they had close-ups on every single person, and every once in a while, even during Mark's solos, they would have it on other people half the time. It was the weirdest thing.
That's interesting.
And
I thought the drummer didn't get any respect. But I
No,
think in live
he-
performances, the drummer.
he had a
Right, yeah.
front thing
It
and
looks cool.
something from above too, you could see his whole set. And then there was also so there were two cameras mostly, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is the package thing is most times it was on everyone in the band but Mark, and then the other camera shot that they had all the time was just the singer, and they
and the
showed
package.
him they would lose his head before they'd lose his package.
Right. So not so much here or here, but right.
It was the funniest thing.
here.
They always had his package in the shot.
Sallie said head.
Yeah. But anyway, so then we woke. Me and the singer woke up in the morning, and we both had colds. Yeah, baby.
Ken Pichelle, I need you to yes, even Ken says we have a real doctor in the house. No, Tom's not, right? You're not a doctor, right?
No.
No. Well, I was just joking. But Dr. Ken, let me know, when you call in at 12 to do the ads, let me know if that's true, that it takes 4 days for a cold to travel.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Before you know you're sick, it takes about 4 days. So no way Gina saw me yesterday and then woke up sick. No way. Blame someone
Absolutely.
else.
Nope.
And there's no one who's not sick today, so it's someone else.
There's no.
Well, except for you. That's just what was 2 or 3 days ago. I'm like, how are you never sick? He's never sick. He gets nothing.
I am Superman.
Do you wash your hands a lot?
He gets cancer. That's all he ever gets.
Well, I made up for
It's
it.
feast or famine with Tony.
Yeah.
No colds, but he'll get
Work hard, play hard.
right.
Sick hard.
He's all in.
That's right. Hey, Derek Muterspaw is watching. Derek, how's work going? Nice to see your name pop up. Joey Petroni is watching. Joey Petroni, you're coming up again on Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. I don't think it's this weekend. I think it's coming up soon. And speaking of Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up, I believe you are booked for a date on there.
Nice.
When? What day?
Right now, Don put me down for March 7th, so I think we still have to confirm.
Okay.
But March 7th.
Oh, we were able to share? Did it work for you?
Hold on. Maybe you can help me share it out.
Yeah.
Well, I saw your sister's watching, Christine. She says hi to you.
And now, so did you guys graduate? So my sister graduated in, I don't know, Christine, can I say this? 89? Is that the...
92, didn't she?
No, she
No,
was
you're
89.
94.
I'm 94.
Oh, okay.
Is that when Harry graduated? Harry Zoros?
I believe so. I went... That sounds familiar. Maybe Christine can chime in.
Owner of his family owns a sweet shop in Hicksville where everybody should go at least once in their lives.
Right.
Their lives are not complete unless you go to the sweet shop. There's a little free plug.
And I often joked because I grew up right by Ramos Pizza and Bagel
Oh, me
Boss.
too.
Right. Yeah, Woodland Avenue, right?
Yeah.
So, I joked that because it was on the border of Plainview and Jericho, that was uptown Hicksville. So, I used to poke
That's so
fun
funny.
at my friends that were on the other side. But,
That's a whole other story.
yeah.
Poking your friend.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents still live there, though. They still live about a block or so away from Ramos, where I grew up.
Yeah.
And,
What road?
Julian.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was on, if you go a couple blocks away from South Oyster Bay, there's List Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
List was part of my paper route.
Oh,
back
really?
when paper routes were a thing.
Nice.
They were a good thing.
They were a good thing.
I missed that.
Yeah.
It's
He was a
funny.
paperboy, too.
I feel like even though my father would help me sometimes on a rainy Sunday morning when the papers,
Yep.
were this thick, it really teaches you. I think I started doing it at 13 or 14, maybe.
Yep. I was
maybe
12. Yeah, I was 12.
And I remember we used to have to go to right by where the Hicksville main firehouse is. We used to have to go there on Saturdays to get all
pay
the
the
inserts
bill,
and
yep.
pay the bill. And I remember my father would write a check and I would have to pay him. But it was like, I was knocking on everyone's door like a collections
Collect the money.
agent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it was
Like a bookie.
people would get 3 or 4 weeks behind, and I'm like, all right, what can you give me this week? And it's it teaches a lot of responsibility.
Plus, you get tips. So, like, it teaches you how to, like, take care of the customer.
yeah,
Well, yeah, not to sound like hey, get off my lawn, old man, but I'm one of those people that embraces or tries to embrace, like people, all the kids should be outside and instead of
Right.
playing video games. No, I don't care. They play against other kids that are in other states. When you do get the kids together, like they talk to each other like they know each other already. I don't know if it's through video
Right.
games or Instagram or Snapchat. So I'm not. But things like paper routes,
right.
I do think that was a mistake taking that away from the kids. You were taught responsibility. It taught you how to talk to people. Like
Right.
I didn't talk to anybody as a kid.
Yeah.
My mother always still teases me to this day that she can't believe I'm on a radio show and I talk to nobody as a kid. I didn't want to know nobody. But yeah, paper
I
route.
feel like it also teaches you, respect for the people in your
Right.
community too. There were
Right.
a lot of old people
Yes.
Yeah.
on my route, and it
Yes.
would be, oh, Tommy's here. Tommy, can you go in my garage? And
Yes.
I had an old lady. Her
Really?
husband, she passed away. She was on not Paula Ketchum. And,
yeah.
Mrs. Stidgelick. I remember her forever, and she was just a sweet old lady and very old and wasn't able to do a lot of things on her own. But she had an old 1969 or 70 Chevy Impala in her garage. That was her husband's car.
Nice.
And I would go in there, and she asked me to start it up for her.
Oh,
and
that's
I was
nice.
into cars. I had an old Mustang
Right.
at the time, and it was just, oh, Tommy, can you go take out the garbage or bring in the pail from the street and things like that.
That's
And
great.
my parents used to joke that on a Friday night when I would go out collecting, my father would have to come and find me because I'd be gone for an extra 2 or 3 hours
Oh,
because someone
easy.
would invite me in for,
Yep.
back when it was okay to
Yeah.
go in
Yes,
someone's
I
house
know.
and have
True.
cookies or a snack
I
or
don't
something.
know. I used to hang out in old ladies' houses all the time. Like,
Well, that's a whole
like I'm
different
sad I'm sad for kids that they.
Sally didn't
don't
have
do
a
that
paper
anymore.
route.
I didn't. I would just. Yeah, I would just. Well, there were like
you
a
would
lot of
call her
old
pimp.
people. There were a lot of old people on my like what?
Nothing.
What?
I said afterwards you would then call your pimp to let him know where you were and give him the money.
Like I would.
She calls
There were a
it
lot of
pimp.
old people on my road, so I would do. I would like shovel their like walk-in stuff, and then they would like feed me and things like that.
Yeah.
Goomba, Johnny is watching. Hey, Johnny. Andrew Plajanos, he says, hang on, let me get my Hicksville yearbook out.
I'm a big fan of Goomba Johnny. I was listening to him the other day with Anthony Rodia.
Yeah.
So hello, Goomba Johnny. Listened to KTU growing up as a kid, and
Yeah.
and up until not too long ago.
It is kind of weird. A guy, because you grow up. I remember listening to him too.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to him religiously. I admit that, but I listened to him and he was funny and
Yeah.
And it was just kind of weird to when you start coming here to see certain people that you grew up with. Like, they're people, but you just used to listen to them. There was something about it that was mysterious with any DJs or people on TV. So then all these years later to get to know them, it's weird sometimes. But
Right.
I mean, now it's settled down, and it's nice to actually call these people friends. But
And you have them up on a pedestal as a kid, right?
Right, that's what I
you grew
mean,
up
yeah.
In this area, you grew up listening to Z100 and KTU, and
Right.
And they would have all these big stars on the show, so you're like, okay, so they're part of that same elite group, and
Exactly,
they're having conversations like this with them.
And even though we're this much older, it's still just weird, like, because I don't, I just remember them being on that pedestal.
Right.
And it's the same as even like being friends with teachers now,
Right.
All these years later, I still have a hard time calling them by their first name.
Right.
Yeah, he does. I was like, I'm like, I didn't even want to call him by their last name like years ago. So I make that transition like right away. But you're
Joe
like,
Scalia? I can't call you Joe.
like,
You're
hi, Mr. Scalia. I'm like,
Yeah.
hi, Joe, come on in.
Right.
Did you
Yeah.
you probably didn't have him, right? I'm trying to think.
he was in the school when I was there, but I
Yeah.
didn't have him. A lot of my friends had him, and actually
Yeah.
a lot of my friends have recently connected with him, like my buddy Matt Murillo.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, who had him as a teacher and loved him. He's very well liked, Mr. Scalia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Did you
but-
share it on the Hicksville line today?
I shared it on the Hicksville 80, the class of 88 page.
Yeah, cool.
I do that every day. But yeah, it does. I do feel kids don't get that many opportunities anymore at that young age.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I would bring the garbage cans up, and I even babysat sometimes.
Really?
I had one lady.
All I know is I didn't clearly use my paperboy like I could have. Like, I believe.
Yeah.
Underutilized. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one lady. This lady she was a big fat Italian lady. This lady was huge. And one day she said to me, like same thing, go in the garage and start the car. Same thing. She goes, go in the garage. She was get my lawnmower. I'm like, okay. And you don't even think twice. So I walk back there, I get it, I roll. She's at the front
Now
door.
gas it up. Now cut my lawn.
Well, that was the thing. She had her front lawn was very small, really about the size, maybe a little bit bigger than this room. This room is not big. She said, I swear to God, she goes, my husband wants me to lose weight. And I'm telling you, this woman, 400 pounds, easy. My husband wants me to lose weight, and one of the ways he wants me to try is by mowing the lawn. She goes, I'll pay you $10 to mow the lawn every week, and I'll give you an extra $5 to not tell him you're doing it. And I did that for about a year. About a year, I did that.
That's funny.
Yeah. And it just taught you to respect. It taught you to be nice, and not. And the only reason wasn't doing it so you can get bigger tips,
Right.
but it taught you to be a better person. But they did reward you.
Right.
I remember I got my first computer at 15 years old. I bought a TV.
Right.
And back then I thought I was rich, man. I thought, this is the life.
Right.
You were rich.
Right. You always had cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? It was like being a waiter or a bartender, right?
Yeah.
At a young age,
Absolutely.
you were walking around with a wad of cash.
Go out with my friends all the time. Yeah, not worry. I mean, you weren't doing anything special with your friends
Right.
at that age. But you thought you were rich because you could afford your own burger.
Right.
Those are good old days, man.
Bucket of fries.
And a bucket of fries at McMichael's.
Do you remember McMichael's?
No.
Yeah, it's
Everybody says that. All the Hicksville
remember
people
McMichael's?
say
Nope.
no.
Well, it's a
Where was it?
fish. It's a fish and
Remember
chips.
where Arthur Treacher's was?
What
Yes.
kid? What kid
Oh,
eats fish?
Well, he remembers that. That shut down and became. It's weird. It became McMichael's, but they didn't change anything. It was still the same green building, the same.
Yeah.
Even the inside was the same. They just
it's
changed.
really good food.
They just changed the name. It was McMichael's for a couple of years after Arthur Treacher's, and that's where Sallie worked.
Yeah.
So I used to go there to stare at her boobies and order French fries.
This was last week.
Actually, I was just telling the story yesterday to somebody.
No,
That
actually,
was-
you didn't even know I had boobies because I had
Yeah.
I was a shift
It was 1980. It was
supervisor.
1983.
So I had that like.
So the
you know,
boobies came
thing.
in 84?
Yeah.
Is that-
No. I had boobies long ago, but
But
I had
covered
like
them
the schmuck or something. What do you call it? Smock.
smock.
The thing that like goes up to here.
You're a schmuck, and that's a schmuck.
You and that smock. You're a schmuck.
Well, do you guys remember Jack in the Box on Old Country Road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just east of.
Right next to Burger King.
Yeah,
And then after that was Fireside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Fireside's
It's
still there.
I think.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's the same.
It's
It
not.
is.
People
isn't.
talk that I've gone to the one in Huntington a few times.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one in Huntington.
Yeah.
When I
And
first started driving, I would seriously I drove to Fireside. Like every week I would go there. It was like
Oh,
like
what
it
a
was so
great
good.
food back
Yeah,
then, yeah.
right.
So, yeah, you have Burger King, Jack in the Box,
It was the trifecta
Fireside.
right
Yeah.
there.
I'm sorry, we cut you off, though. Go
No,
ahead.
but the tacos there. So have you guys? They it's funny when I talk about the tacos there. People think I'm crazy, or they say I didn't even know they had. Tacos.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
So it's a deep fried taco
Where?
at Jack in the Box.
Really?
And ultimately, I guess everyone in the Northeast caught on that, with the ongoing cholesterol problem, maybe it's not a good idea to have fried tacos. So ultimately, there's no Jack in the Box here. But I would travel for work. I'm in advertising, and we could talk a little bit about that later. But anytime I'd go to the West Coast or down south, I'd find a Jack in the Box. So like even if I was taking a client out to Morton Steakhouse, I would still find the Jack in the Box and hit like 3. They were like 2 for 99 cents.
Wow.
It's basically a tortilla shell with meat inside. And
Yeah.
they take after they fry it, so they fry it in the middle is like that greasy, soggy goodness, and then on the outside is super, super crispy.
Wow.
And then they put a piece of cheese on top that instantly melts because
Yeah.
it's 1,000
They
degrees.
call it something like I used to live in
It was
California,
like a
so
monster taco or something.
no, but
Heart
like in
attack.
California, like when you took a burrito and you deep fried it, it's called like a chimichanga or something. Like there's a
But there's
name
a
for
thing,
that. Yeah.
Well, it came with a Lipitor pill, to your point, Tony. So I think every 7 tacos came
Yeah.
with a free Lipitor pill. But so for the longest time, I would have to only find out, like, wait a minute, I'm in Vegas for something, and there's a taco. I would take a cab from wherever hotel I was staying to go to a Jack in the Box,
Yeah.
or
Wow.
Jack's.
Yeah.
And then I would
Jack's,
actually
yeah.
like tip the driver a few tacos because a lot of people wouldn't try them. Like, these are fantastic.
Yeah.
So I have some friends I think that are watching that might be able to attest to my abnormal taco fetish from Jack in the Box. But now
I used to have a
Burger
Taco
King-
Bell problem. I used to have to have like a bean burrito every day. Like 30
Really?
years ago, I had to. It was so
Yeah.
weird.
Well, everyone would go to the Taco Bell at Delco Plaza, right? When
Yeah.
you were at least that was there when I was in high school. I don't know how long that was
The
there.
Taco Bell,
Oh, now it's a 7-Eleven.
right.
But it
That-
was-
and
that
that's
was a
where
Taco
that's
Bell.
where the fish and chips place was.
Right. And then
there.
Taco Bell moved
to Delco Plaza.
right inside the right.
Right. Really? So it was when
This
you
is
were in
a
high
great-
school. It
this
was
is
in
a great
Delco
show
Plaza.
for everyone outside of Hicksville.
It's a
right?
Hicksville show, ladies and gentlemen. It really. So when you were in high school, it was in Delco Plaza already?
No.
Oh, it was on the corner. Yeah. All right. So Ken Pichelle says the word is smock. It's a noun, a loose dress or blouse with the upper part closely gathered in smocking.
Yep. It was up to here. So you
Yeah.
didn't even
Oh no,
know.
it was higher than that. It was like practically choking you. So I didn't even see you. I didn't discover you boobies until we got together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
So you had, but you had them when I met you in the
Yeah,
80s?
I was like one of those like early developed,
Oh, is that right?
like 5th grade. Like, ooh, look at those.
That must be hard.
well, for us.
No, but because I remember now I have a 10-year-old daughter, and now all these things are
Yeah.
going through my head too of how she's interacting at school. She's in 4th grade now, and I can remember thinking back to elementary school. There were some girls that developed early. Mm-hmm. I can tell you exactly who they were because I
Yeah,
remember
me and
vividly.
Denise
No, but
Grossman.
all kidding aside,
Yeah.
it must be tough at a young age.
It's weird, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
now it's fantastic, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it wasn't bad then.
But when you're
back
young,
then
it
either.
must be hard.
The phone is ringing. Let's do it. Hello there, DJ D-Love.
Hello, Tony. How you been, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How you been, buddy?
I'm just doing peachy, man.
Peachy. What do you got going on
Yep.
today? Yesterday you just chilled all day. What about today?
Today I'm going to a bird place today.
A bird place.
Yes.
You're going to clean up bird poop?
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
No, no. I'm going to see exotic birds.
Oh,
Exotic birds. And where are you doing this? Do you know the name of the place?
No, it's called exotic birds in Selden.
Exotic birds in Selden. Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
And you have big plans for you have big plans for the Super Bowl?
Yep, my house is having a Super Bowl party, and I'm going for Kansas City Chiefs.
You're rooting for the Chiefs. Very nice. Goomba Johnny,
Yep.
who does Anthony Rodia's show, right? He's a big Chiefs fan. Steve Belanger,
I'm a
who does our comedy on football show. He's a big Chiefs fan. So everybody's very excited. First Chiefs Super Bowl appearance in 50 years.
oh, good for them. That's
Yep.
cool. I like that.
So, are you a Chiefs fan, or are you just rooting for them for the Super Bowl?
I'm just rooting because I don't like 49ers.
You don't like the 49ers. Okay.
Nope. And actually, I'm going for Kansas City because Kansas City is in my division with the Patriots. So that's I'm going for Kansas City.
So you're a Patriots fan.
Yes.
Ah, very nice. All right.
Oh, I'm surprised. Tony, I'm surprised you didn't watch my live video last night of DJ D-Love's going live last night.
You did a live video last night. I'll have to watch it later. I was working last night. I couldn't, but I'll check it out later. And what'd you do?
Yeah.
Did you sing like you're going to sing for us today?
Actually, no. I was partying down last night. You should see it. It's really good.
All right, I'll check it out. So
yes, it's called.
Go ahead.
It's on my Facebook page. It's also on D Love's Murphy's page too.
D Love Murphy's page. That's the page to go check out. DJ D Love doing his beats and his voices.
And I got a song for you today too.
Yeah, well, of course you do. Go ahead.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Every time I'm over, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I gave me memories when my sunshine fades away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
I know why he's singing this song.
Why?
You have a theory? Go ahead there, Tom.
Touching tribute to the late Kobe Bryant.
Ah.
Right? Wasn't that the Grammy song that Boyz II Men sang?
Oh, is that right?
Is that right?
Is that what you were singing, DJ?
No, I'm just singing my song because I like that song by Boyz II Men.
He's like, no, I don't care about that.
Screw
It's
Kobe.
like, I give two shits about Kobe.
No, this is my theory, because if you notice, he was coughing. I think he was with Sallie yesterday, caught her cold, and when after you guys were done kissing, he said, "Oh, Sallie, I don't want you to leave. It's hard to say goodbye. I want more kisses."
No,
he's
guys,
a
come on
married
now.
man.
DJ,
I'm not a man now.
So you're a married man, and stop that, Tony.
Yeah, Mr. Tony Walker.
oh, I got a full.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah, I got Mr. Tony Walker. So I get the full name. That means I'm in trouble. All right. Well, nice job with your Boyz II Men impression there, DJ D Love.
Good job.
Oh, I got another song for you. I got another song for you guys.
Yeah, we'll give him one more. Go ahead, one more.
I got Missy. Missy, I got to think about. I got a little rhyme for you guys today. Actually,
You got a little.
I made a little rap song yesterday.
Oh, you made up a rap song?
Yes, want to hear it?
I gotta hear this.
Okay. Yo, my name is DJ D Love. Now my friend is gone. I don't know what to say. Man, Kobe Bryant is just gone. I'm gonna miss him, man. He was a good basketball player. Man, I don't know what to say. Man, he was a good basketball player for the Lakers. Man, I don't know. He's just gone. Everybody's gonna miss him, man. Chill out, man. Wear Kobe sneakers. Yo, just mesmerize me, man. I'm Kobe Bryant. Yeah, check it out. I'm Kobe Bryant.
Well, that was
And in the
sad.
house.
It's a Friday. It's Super Bowl. Now I'm all sad.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, DJ D Love. Very nice
I've
job.
heard him freestyle before.
That's right. Have a great weekend.
Yes.
We'll catch up with you Monday. Call us Monday.
wait,
We'll talk
wait.
about the Super Bowl.
Okay, I want to say something real quick. Please check out please check out D Love Murphy's page. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, DJ D Love. Have
Bye,
a great
Dennis.
weekend.
Have fun
Oh,
with the birds.
Tony, I got to tell you something real quick, Tony, too.
Yep.
Who's that guy calling yesterday talking all that jazz to D Love? Say that was garbage. I missed the same months.
Oh, that was Eric's brother, Kenny.
Tell him he really stinks. And tell him
I will.
Tell him that look on DJ D Love's page.
And it's true. He does. He smells really bad. He stinks. I'll be sure to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tell him that's some.
All right, I will.
Tell him that's some DJ D Love. Tell him I heard the whole conversation.
I'll
and tell
tell
him I'm the best.
Now he sounds like Muhammad Ali. You tell him I heard the whole thing. You tell him I'm coming to get him.
All right, Mohammed. We'll talk to you on Monday.
No, it's DJ D Love.
All right, DJ.
I gotta say something. Ready, guys? I gotta say. Everybody wants to say the magic word. 1, 2, 3.
Deuces. There you go. All right. DJ D-Lo, that was great. He did sound just like him.
So I'm going to eat him, and I'm going to come get him. You tell Eric
Because I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest that ever was. Great. So where were we? All right. So we did all the paperboy stuff. I used to have these two girls. They were two girls that lived together. I don't know what their deal was. They were. Oh, there's Kenny. Is that Kenny?
Yeah.
They were so hot, and they used to answer the door to pay me in negligee. I swear to God, that's true. I can even point the house out to you next to them.
What house was that again?
It was on Kramer Street. It was on my block, actually. Boy, are you in trouble?
Jesus Christ! What the fuck was that?
See, and did you hear what he
He's
said?
going to watch. He's going to come and get you next.
That's right.
Holy shit!
Did you hear what he said?
Well, first of all, I want to tell Sallie that there are a lot of lead singers that don't wear underwear. The lead singer of The Uninvited doesn't wear underwear either.
It was quite the package. Like it wasn't like he was like particularly large. It was just like you could see like all the nooks and crannies.
Well, yeah. So I never wear underpants,
Yeah.
but my pants are so giant you couldn't see anything anyway. But like I'm an innie, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm gonna rival DJ. DJ, what the fuck's he call himself?
DJ D-Love.
Okay, well, DJ D-Love, this is my rap name, and I'm PP Smalls, and I'm going to sing for you. You got what I need. What the fuck? Hello?
Hi.
Did you guys hang up on me?
I almost did. My finger was out. It was heading towards the button, but I stopped.
Where's Eric today? What's the matter with that kid?
I don't know. He's your brother. You ask him.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and talk to you later. Peace. Later. Bye.
Bye, Kenny.
That's good. We only lost 6 people in the last 2 phone calls.
He did a
supposed to
show.
get more people dialing in.
Yeah.
Right?
He did a show for us, not that long ago, and he was getting like all
Kenny.
his his outfit on, and he's like, I didn't wear underwear. I'm like, who comes to like a show to like dress in
Or announce that.
Yes, exactly.
yeah, into costume. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to deal with this.
It's true. Unfortunately, we know it's true. All right, so let's go back. So we talked about put up, stand up, shut up. You're going to be on there. You're kind of you're brand new. All right,
Yeah, what's the deal?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. How did this happen? Give us a whole history here.
So this.
Who's that? All right, we still have an hour and a half. We'll get it all done. This is our show. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. You're on the air. Who's this?
This is Chris Thomas.
This is
not your.
Yeah,
Chris
I know.
Thomas. This is my Chris Thomas.
This is. Oh, you have your own Chris Thomas.
I have my own. I came with my own Chris Thomas.
Everybody should have their own Chris Thomas.
Everyone should have their own Chris Thomas.
So good morning, new Chris Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tom is a great friend of mine, and he's actually the funniest guy I've ever sat next to at work. But I want Tom to tell his funniest story at work sitting next to someone. I might not be that guy, but I think he's got a few stories.
Well, actually, I'm trying to think. So I worked with Chris. We worked together twice. I mentioned him in advertising, and I was on the advertising side with Chris at Microsoft.
Oh, nice.
With Bing and then some of the other properties that they have, and then also LinkedIn. We ended up having, I was lucky enough to work with Chris again at LinkedIn. Also on the advertising side, everyone knows LinkedIn can help you find the job or help recruiters reach out to you. But in the process of garnering 600 million professionals globally, now there's a lot of companies that want to reach all those professionals because they're spending time on the site, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, because actually Chris, like Ryan, and I was reaching out to some of those other guys to let them know about the show today. And
you can actually say Ryan's funnier than me, by the way.
Oh, he is, definitely. But it's funny. This was probably the group where all along my career in selling advertising, I would have these pockets of friends that would be like, hey, Tom, you're funny. You should try. Have you ever done stand-up? Have you ever done an open mic? And I always felt like I would write down some funny things, and I thought I would be good in a situation. Like if I'm sitting around with friends, I could make people laugh because I could do a lot of good callbacks to things that happened a few minutes ago or last year.
Right.
So I always felt like that is a skill, and I felt like it was something. I acknowledge my weaknesses, and I feel like I can acknowledge some of my strengths, and I thought that was a strength. And I would always say, you know what, maybe one day I'll get up and do an open mic. And now this is going back. I was at LinkedIn from 2013 to 17 about, And I kept talking about it, kept threatening to do it, and I never did it. And then I took another job after that, also within the same space. And again, people would say it along the way, and I'd say, you know what, at some point I'm going to do it.
Sure.
And actually, I have to say, my friend Matt Murillo, who might be listening, also went to Hicksville High School, class of '94. He's been writing plays, and he went to school locally here at CW Post, and he's written some great movies and independent films. And all of them always, even if they're serious, they always have some great writing. They're very witty. And recently, he moved out to L.A. a few years ago, and recently started doing stand-up comedy. So we all got together with this group of friends that we've been friends with, some since elementary school.
Wow.
Woodland Avenue.
Woodland Avenue.
Just in case we haven't talked about Hicksville or the school,
Not enough.
the Hicksville school system for the last, I think we went 3 minutes. We got together and we went to Crabtree's in Huntington Village.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that used to be Fast Eddie's. There's a rich history there.
Yeah.
So we were just getting together for a drink for the holidays. And right up on the wall says, open comedy mic, first Monday of the month. So I said, this was only a few days away, and I said to Matt, while you're in town, you should do it. I'll come and watch you, because he sent me some video clips, and he's doing a great job, and really funny.
Oh, great.
So I said, you know what, maybe I'll finally put together 3 minutes, and I'll go up and do it, too. He's like, you totally should. So I went there that night. My buddy Tom Farrell
he's
was on
watching
as well,
yeah.
And he was there that night. And that was the first night I actually went up and did it. And I started, when I was writing about, you write what you know. And I was writing about, I'm married, I have 3 young kids, and of course, a lot of comedians have, talked about their experiences there. So I started writing about that, and it went really well. So of course I was nervous, and of course I wasn't, not most of the jokes didn't hit, the timing was off, and things like that. But the common thing that people were telling me was, you seem very comfortable up there, and you seem very relaxed.
Which is half the battle.
It is, right?
Did you find like 3 minutes felt like an hour, or it was okay?
Yeah.
Because 3 minutes is a really
It is
long
a long
time.
time, yeah.
It seems like nothing.
Yeah. And then what I started to do after that was, it was fun. I posted on Facebook and Instagram that I did it. And I was like, hey, bucket list thing. I finally did it. I popped my cherry and that, that kind of thing, for a Goodfellas reference, Chris. But it's funny. I got more engagement on that than even like the birth of my children, because I was like, oh, Tom, finally, or why didn't you tell me? I would have come.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, so it was a fun thing, and then I was like, all right, well, after that, the next day, I've never felt like that much inspiration to just write, because like I said, I thought that was maybe the thing I was missing, and maybe I'd be good helping to write a sitcom one day or something, right? Sit around the table and say, no, instead of that, maybe try this, like punching some things up, maybe, right?
Yep.
But the next day or 2 days later, I was like, oh wait, this could be funny if I did this, and so I had fun doing that, and then I just did my second open mic last night at the Loft in Belmore.
Frank Fiala.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He wasn't there last night, though. There was another guy, Pat, who was running it for him. I think he wasn't feeling well, Frank.
I
can't think of Pat's last name.
Bald guy? Glasses?
Yes.
Pat Gagliardi?
I think so. That sounds right.
Gagliardo, I think is how you say his name.
I'm trying to remember if I made out with Frank too. Did I make out with Frank too?
Probably.
Is he sick?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Frank wasn't feeling well.
Because I saw him the week before.
Right.
Yes, you probably were. It's hard to keep track of all the guys you make out with. So you did it last night.
I did it last night, and it was totally different. So like Crabtree's was very formal. I felt like I was at a small comedy club, right? There were people there. That's a popular spot. I have a young brother-in-law, and he's telling me like that's a cool place to go now, especially for young people, and I guess some not so young people. But the place was packed, and so there was probably about maybe a dozen or so comedians that went on, and all various levels. I don't think anyone else was there for the first time. I had said this is my first time at the end. A few people had been doing this for a while. Few people, like there was this one girl there, Lindsay Jennings, and I think she was touring with the Aloha Pussycats or something like that. But I thought she was very funny.
Okay.
So that was, to me, very formal. It was like you went up and you were announced and you went back and, everyone's studying their notes. And so that felt like what I always thought in my head to be, all right, this is an open mic.
It's interesting that you announced at the end that it was like your first time. Like did you want to do it in the beginning? Like I would have been like this is my first time. I'm really nervous. Here I go or something.
I think I
definitely have a question.
Right. Yeah.
So Tom used to sit next to me for years, and was the funniest person, obviously, in the office. He literally sat next to me. I used to literally tears in my eyes at 9:30. But my question to Tom is, like, there's a difference being hilarious, like a coworker, but how did you get the balls to actually do stand-up? Like, you're always hilarious, but, like, what was that, like, turning point of balls? I'm like, I'm actually going to stand up and talk about this and put myself out there.
Right, because it's a big difference to just, react to somebody and say something to them, like you said, and do a callback, which everybody loves, even in comedy world. Every time a comedian does a callback, it works.
Yeah.
It never fails, but
people were encouraging him, so he believed in the people that he was friends with.
But it's a completely different thing to react to somebody and just be quick, as opposed to initiating and telling a story and telling your own, because you don't have that reacting off somebody, so it's a completely different thing.
Right.
So to Chris's question,
right?
Did you? Or were you doing that already with guys like Chris? Were you coming up with your own stuff to mess with them with and joke with them about?
Well, yeah, I guess it was some of that. But, I would, it's just funny. I feel like all this stuff would kind of write itself in terms of coming in on a Monday and having a funny story from my kids, or, when they were babies or whatever, or a funny interaction with me and my wife. And, I remember coming in and saying, like, Tom, how was your weekend? And I was talking about, well, Friday night, I had date night with my wife, or my wife wants to do a date night or something like that. And like, oh, that's good. That's nice. And I said, yeah, I didn't realize she wanted to come with me. Already doing like some setups like that. Like I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
I was like, absolutely. This is something we definitely need. Oh, okay. So you wanted to come with me. But, I would think along those lines sometimes of just what's funny, or sometimes you work with someone that's like, oh, my wife said this. And you just think of a funnier scenario of, if this
like,
is
what
true,
if the
then that
person
could be
said
true,
that?
right? Or hyperbole, exaggerating something further, right?
Right.
And so, ultimately, to answer your question, Chris, I finally said, you know what? Enough is enough, right? I'm 44 years old, and if I'm going to do it, there's no time like the present. And if I don't like it, I'll never do it again, and I'll still enjoy comedy. I love comedies. I love watching comedians. I always felt like I would watch a comedian almost like as if a football team was breaking down film tape to prepare for something. Like, I loved what was the instant that that they had the audience, or what was the instance that the audience started laughing when he was about to say this point of the punchline or she. So I've always been fascinated, and actually there's one thing I wanted to touch upon that Woodland Avenue Elementary School, the variety show or the talent show that we had, 3 years I got up and did stand-up comedy, and I have video cassettes of it. And it's funny that I said to my parents, I want to do this. And I feel like if my kids said that now, I'd be like, what, are you crazy? Like, let me hear you rehearse. And they never had me bounce things off of them. My father would write a few things. My parents are very funny. My father's very quiet, though, so he's quiet and witty. He'll say like little things.
But I like that.
Yeah, no, me too. And my mom is very outgoing. I think I have more of my mom's personality. But my father would just, like, as I'm walking up on stage, my dad handed me a broom. And he said, Dr. Clancy was the principal at the time. And he says, tell everyone that Dr. Clancy told you to clean up your act. And, like, even with my teacher was Mr. Mandel at the time for 5th grade. Loved Mr. Mandel, right? Whoa. Did you make out with him, too?
No.
Yes, he's sick right now. Yeah.
No, I didn't have a crush on him or anything. He was just the greatest teacher I ever had in my whole life.
Mess?
Oh, he was
like shit everywhere.
He was a mess. Yeah, he was a mess.
But a super nice guy.
I loved him. Yeah.
And I remember my father said, ask everyone why Mr. Mandel wears glasses, and it was because he has trouble with his pupils. But the funny thing is, I remember that, as my father's telling me this, I was like, okay, that's good, that'll work. And the rest of the stuff, I was like reading joke books and writing some things down. And again, I would go up for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And and I remember, though, setting it up. Even when I think about it now, I said, hey, does anyone know if Mr. Mandel is here? And everyone's like looking around and whatever. And I hear everyone yelling out, no. And I said, all right, good, so I can tell this joke. And I feel like that was like a setup even when I was in 3rd grade. Like, I remember just having, rather than just say, does anyone know why Mr. Mandel,
Right.
So I feel like at a young age I was into it. And I guess along the way I was just kind of like, all right, well, I found this other path and I'm not going to be a comedian.
Right.
But I felt like, all right, so I'm 44 and, what.
You're basically saying you've been miserable all your life until you came back to comedy.
No.
And you hate Chris Thomas's on that. That's exactly what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
We're
But
joking.
I love Chris. Matter of fact, Chris is newly single. So if there's anyone listening, really, really nice guy, good-looking
Too bad
guy.
our Chris Thomas
could we get him
isn't
together
single.
with-
Wouldn't that be great?
Can you imagine?
Chris Thomas.
She's Chris with a K. Yeah.
Chris Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris is a really, really great guy, and I'm really glad you called in, Chris. Thank you.
You're welcome. It like made my day, like hearing you that you're on the radio.
Thanks,
Nice.
buddy.
Wow, a lot of bro love here.
Love you, man. In the biblical sense.
He's not saying it back. I noticed.
You could reply back.
He's like, all right, I gotta go now, guys.
He's like, all right, well, it's good chatting with you, Sallie and Tony.
Well, maybe he's sick right now. Maybe he met Sallie.
I don't know. Sallie looks like she hooks up with a lot of people, so I got a chance.
Well, at least this week. Yeah.
Well, actually, that reminded me of something funny, though, with my father being quiet with the I love you.
Yeah.
I was newly married. My wife and I were renting an apartment in Huntington Village.
Okay.
And my wife went out to go to yoga after work. I was only married about a year or so. I was in my mid-20s, late maybe 27 or so. And I watched a special on HBO about these young people that had been in horrific accidents. Yeah, nice uplifting thing to watch after work, right? And they were all in some type of vegetative state. And the whole thing was analyzing, do some people make it out? Some people make it out a little bit. Some people stay in that vegetative state forever. These were people that took like a fall off a balcony in college, like terrible, terrible things.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But it was it was an interesting piece.
Sure.
And here are these parents sitting next to them. And again, I was like the same age as
For
these poor
years,
victims, and the parents
you know?
sitting next to them. They're feeding them, and they're looking,
Yeah.
they're going, I love you. And they're like staring right through them. I'm like, these poor parents, all they want is for this kid to say, I love you back.
Right.
So, just one time, right?
Yeah.
Just to know. They probably believe that they're inside there thinking it. So my wife comes home, and I tell her this story. I said, it's just so sad. I said, it makes you want to call your parents and just say I love you. So my wife is very much like, if you're thinking something, feeling something,
Yeah,
say it.
right.
She goes, so call your parents and tell them that you love them. So I call, and my dad picks up the phone. My dad had never said those words to me ever. So my dad picks up the phone, and I said, hey, Dad, just want to tell you that I watched this special on HBO. I'm trying to summarize it.
Yeah,
quicker
explain
than what I
why
did.
you're,
So I'm explaining
yeah.
why, and I said, listen, I just want to call and tell you that I love you. And he goes, okay, here's your mom. Right? So he hands the phone to my mom. And nothing like me too, ditto, nothing, right?
Not even that.
So he
Right.
goes,
Thank you.
he goes,
Like,
okay, here's your mom, right? So now my mom, who wears her heart on her sleeve, and I love both my parents to pieces, but my mom is very much,
yeah.
So she says, oh, sweetheart, I love you so much, and I'm so glad you called, and oh, that was so sweet. And so now she hangs up. Okay, I love you more, and so we hang up the phone. So now I know the conversation that happened, which is, what did you say when you picked up the phone?
Yeah, I'm sure she just punched him right in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the next day, I come home from work, and the phone rings. This was, the landline back then.
Yeah, right.
And it's my dad. And he says, what are you doing? I said, we just finished dinner. He was like mad because I think he got in trouble from my mom.
Right.
He says, you caught me off guard yesterday when you called. And
Right.
I'm like, all right.
He's mad.
Now he's mad.
How dare you say this to me?
And I know he loves me. I know he
Yeah,
loves
of
me. His
course.
actions from
Right.
my entire life.
Yeah.
So he says, there's things that you don't have to say sometimes to someone that you care about. I'm saying, so now I'm egging him on. I'm like, so what are you trying to say, Dad? You know what I'm trying to say. I said, no, you could just say it now at this point, Dad. We've already, He says, I love you. I said, all right, I love you. I said, I love you too. But he was so mad at me.
That's so funny. Yeah, I would have been like, oh, really? Well, maybe I'll go talk to Mom about this again.
Yeah, you want me to tell Mom?
Yeah.
But now I watch
see
him
how
with,
she feels about
with
it.
my kids, and he's like, I love you, sweetheart.
I
to my
know,
daughter,
right?
and
It's so weird
but
when you
it's
see
great.
them with, like,
Yeah.
the grandparents.
Yeah, it's really
yeah.
nice.
So, all right. So going back a little bit with the comments here, Thomas Farrell says, "Doesn't everyone have a Chris Thomas?" Andrew Plajanos, he's commenting like crazy here, and funny as always. He thinks DJ D Love and Kenny should have a sing-off, which I agree with. And he's also saying now he's saying he wants to get his elementary school yearbooks. Mm-hmm. He wants to know if Mr. Mandel had how many legs he has, because he knows about Sally's fetish about one leg. Thomas Farrell says, yeah, we should cue Stevie Wonder right now. I just called to say I love you. Ken Pichel, Dr. Ken Pichel says, if Marion Francis were to wed Francis Marion, then she'd be Marion Francis Marion, after which she'd become Marion Francis Marion.
Got it.
You guys got that? That was actually, Ken,
Yeah.
that might be one of
Dr.
the
Ken,
best things you've ever commented.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You're like Michael the Joke explainer there, Ken. And DJ and
DB
Chef
Frack?
Felix. What's that?
Did you see DB Frack?
DB Frick.
Frick, sorry.
Frick. He did he comment?
He
He hosted the.
He was there last night.
Oh, he was there. Okay.
Yeah. And actually, he said something along the lines of, he said he was hilarious at his second stand-up effort. Oh wait, let me read this verbatim. Now. I didn't realize that part. No, he said obviously he spent time talking in front of groups. Actually, that was what he said to me after. So I was saying how last night was much different. That it was maybe 10 comics together, and that was it. My brother-in-law Matt came. I think Matt's watching.
So there wasn't really an audience. It was just
No.
people that were going on and practicing.
And it was
stuff
cool
like that.
because it was different.
It's a nice
it was
place.
Harder, I thought.
We know where it is, and we almost did a
We've been
murder
there,
mystery there, but
Oh, really?
it didn't work out. So we ended up not doing it. It was a weird situation, but
Okay.
I liked the room. I wanted to do one there, but it just got bizarre.
The room was cool, and basically when Pat, who was standing in for Frank, said, please let us know if you want feedback after you go to everyone, and we'd be happy to either help with a punchline or help,
Sure.
Who said that to you?
Pat, the guy
Okay.
running the...
Gagli's.
I think it's Gagliardi. Or I think. Don't hold me. It's something like that.
And so so I thought that was a really cool twist because it was harder because, what I've found so far is with these two, I'm a seasoned vet now with these two open mics, is that, if either of you ever waited tables or acted as a server somewhere?
Yeah.
So when you go somewhere, even if the service is okay, you still tip pretty well because you know how hard it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. So I feel like even for terrible service, I still tip okay because I know probably something's going on that
Right.
the place is too busy or whatever. Maybe the bus staff isn't.
Sure.
But so I feel like that's the same thing. I feel like with these open mics that I've been to so far, everyone knows how
they
hard it is.
congratulate you too much or
Right.
tell you that it's so great when it isn't.
Yeah, but in a good way because I feel like you should be getting some of that now because you want the courage to keep doing it and
Right.
keep getting better.
My guess is that it wouldn't be like that. My guess is that because I'm not a comic, but I hang around with them, and they're brutally honest in a nice way.
Yeah,
like,
but they're supportive, so they will.
very supportive,
So
but
they
they'll
make sure to be
tell
allowed
you.
to laugh
Right.
and stuff when especially with the new guys, to give
Yeah.
them
Right.
that support, to give them that courage to keep
But
going.
that's
With it.
They'll
actually
say
something-
you should try it this way, or that's
Yeah.
better. Stay away from that,
Right.
like because they know they don't want sunshine blowing up their ass,
Right.
and they don't want to do that to you. Like that's
Definitely.
that's what I've seen. So like if they're telling you good things,
Yeah.
I would accept it.
No, definitely. I
Was it
agree.
okay? Andy Plajanos has to go. All right, have a great weekend,
Bye,
Andy. Christine Galati says, "Love you, Tom."
Love you too, Christine.
After hearing that story, probably she's just she has to say it.
Yeah.
Felix.
Go call Dad and tell him you love him.
Felix says, "Hello, overslept. Got drunk on show yesterday." Good to know. Good to know. So was it tougher doing the stand up in front of the comedians? Did you feel like they were sizing you up, or?
Well, no, actually, I felt like in the beginning, I felt like when everyone was getting there and signing up, I feel like everyone was like, "I've never seen you." A few people said that, "I've never seen you before." Who are you?
Right, yeah.
There was a woman there too, Donna, and I don't remember her last name, but DB and I friended each other on Facebook, and one or two other people that were there. But I felt like it was harder to deliver my piece because. It's different. I felt like at Crab Cheese, there were people that were 3 or 4 drinks in already, and they came because they knew it was an
Right.
open mic night. They
Right.
came for the, to be an audience.
Yeah.
And so this group was just like everyone sitting around, and, I felt like they weren't ready to laugh so much at the routine, but I love the feedback at the end. Matter of fact, Tom Farrell had a great way for me to kick something up where I was talking about how with kids you have to watch and actually protect their social security numbers now because people can steal their identity. And so my joke was that I didn't realize you could actually do that and have to worry about opening up a credit card in your kid's name. I said, so I just opened up a few credit cards in their name, and I said I figured they have plenty of time to pay off that jet ski that I just helped them buy, or when it comes time to buy a car when they're 18, they just have to pay down that Home Depot card they opened when they were 5. But Tom had a great idea, and this is someone again that I'm friends with through Matt Murillo. At the end, he said, well, he goes, if they ask you to take a dip in the pool, you could say, sure, why not? You paid for it, like that kind of thing. So I feel like it was a very supportive group with not only giving me some advice for the jokes that I had written, but everyone was doing that for each other. So it was totally different, but awesome in a different way.
And they're paying attention too. Like the reason why they're not sitting there like just laughing and drinking is because they're paying attention, and that would be, because you're smart, and so like I'm sure your jokes are. You have to pay attention to. You'd probably do better like at an earlier show rather than like a later show when they're all drunk and can't pay attention.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's a double-edged sword, right? When there's
It
so
is.
many drinks in, they can get a little
Then
belligerent
they don't. They
too,
can't even
or
pay
they can't
attention.
Right.
Or they miss the joke. They miss the comeback. And,
yeah. But it's funny. Someone I don't remember if it was a guest that you had recently, or if when I was watching Put Up, Shut Up, or Stand Up, someone that was maybe one of the judges. They were talking about how competitive comedians can be. And I think kind of like what you were getting at before too, Sallie, that I feel like maybe at this stage, everyone's like, hey, we're all in the same boat. We're not getting any paid gigs right now. We're just going out and trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Everyone's super supportive. And I wonder if it's, and I'd be curious to know from other comedians who have been doing this way longer than I have and that are getting paid gigs, or like a Rodea, someone at his level, or, Jackie Martling, because he talked about laughing when some of your best friends are bombing, like Richard Jenny or something, right?
Not some of your best friends when another asshole comic is bombing. And he was like, he specifically said that. It was like, because sometimes you're stuck with someone who, no one likes. It'll be like, so here's what I've like observed is like the seasoned comics, they're even more gracious. Because, and the only reason
like, hey,
is because the only reason they've lasted this long is because they're really good people. Because no one wants a bunch of assholes around. Right. So like the unfunny comics and the assholes get weeded out really fast. And so it's like a small group of people that they know each other. They've been around for, 20, 30 years, and they don't make stupid mistakes at like clubs and stuff. They don't say the wrong thing or, so I think you're going to find even more support as you do this for a while.
Yeah. And this is cool. When you mentioned Jeff before, Bozy, he was the one who turned me on to your show at Crabtrees. He showed up.
Oh, it was Jeff.
Jeff, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And what I've thought is like been really cool about this, and the reason, I mentioned I work from home most of the time now, is, I'll put you guys on and pay attention when I can, or if I have to get on a conference call. I joked the other day and I said, hey, I was just gone for the last hour. Did I miss anything? Right. But what I like is, like Bonnie Scalisi and Jeff and Don Sills and like this group here, I feel like this is like a really cool Long Island comedy scene that it's really fun to try and be a part of right now.
Well, and
get to know you guys, and because this is really, really a lot of fun for me.
Right, and that's the case. Even like talking about the season guys, Joey Cola will tell you, he hung out with Kevin James and I mean some big names, some that aren't. But on the local scene, some of them are bigger. But they started out the same way, and because they were bumping into each other at all these different places, and they all work together, and they're all still friends to this day. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of that too, like you're saying, the Jeff Boseys and a lot of comedians just on the local scene. There seems to be a lot of people. I think you had the people like Joey Colas that were around. Like 80s, early 90s, and I do think it kind of tailed off for a while. I mean, there's always been great comedians, but there just seemed to be a big group of them, and they all were friendly, and then it kind of died off. But now it does seem like there's a big group, and they're all kind of just, lugging through together and trying to do something together.
And I wonder if part of that is that, social media is well past its infancy now, right? Like it's really mainstream for everyone. My mom's on it on Facebook, and, like Rodea, right? You were talking about how he didn't really go through the ranks, and he said sometimes, people poke shots at him like that because he didn't suffer, and he figured out a way to get a great following on social.
But what people don't realize with him is that he did pay because he almost 20 years ago he tried it,
right?
And he did it for a while, and it wasn't happening. Which is what happens to all of us. We experience that failure and the letdowns and having a family, and I mean, if you didn't have to worry about making a living, everybody'd be doing it,
right?
But he, got a real job and lived his life,
right?
So he paid his dues back then, and he was, and plus, me personally, I just feel you're paying your dues when that's something you seriously want to do, but you're not for whatever the reason is,
right?
And he had a great job. He was making good money, but he still freaking hated it.
Right.
It's not always that's the thing too. It's not always about the money. I mean, of course, the money's a good thing, and you have to support your family, which is a noble thing. But if you really have a passion for something, you feel that. You feel that emptiness.
Right.
So, so he put his time in to figure out how to make it work for him.
Yeah.
So it baffles me when people knock him.
Plus, he's really funny too. Like, I mean, he's just polished and funny, and there's just something about him that he's just great at it. So
and I'll talk,
and
I'll mention this too, and I can say this because he's talked about it on his show here. He also paid his dues because when he came back, I mean, sure, he took off really fast, and now he's on fire. But think about that. To make it that quickly, he went through a lot of shit with that. Like you said, people knocking him because they felt he didn't pay his dues. But even at home.
Right. He said his mom was like
his
supportive,
wife.
but then to his wife, and then,
Right.
Should he really be doing this full time?
Right. And his wife was honest with him and said, no, I don't think you should give up the job. And he did give up his full-time job anyway. And, there was a little strain in the household. But
I didn't hear it that way. I thought she said, you know what, take a year and see if you can make it work, and I'll like be really supportive, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll readdress it. Like, I don't think she was like, don't quit.
She gave him that year, but it was very obvious she wasn't for it, and and then eventually a few months in, she admitted that, and there was some back and forth. Ken Pichelle, why are you
calling?
Why are you like?
Is it time for commercials?
It is ad time, but he's calling. You know what? Our apologies. We have Chris Thomas on the line this whole time.
Chris, you still on?
I'm still on.
Okay, we're gonna let you go, Chris.
All right,
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
You could let me.
Sorry.
Sally doesn't know how to use a phone. So
Yeah, I think I use it like a little bit better than you. It takes you forever. You're like,
I let them finish their sentence. You hung up on poor Chris Thomas.
yeah, but there's times.
Oh, stop! Because I give Dennis 5
Can we
minutes.
get the other
Big
Chris
deal.
Thomas?
15 more minutes as he's saying goodbye.
So what? All right, so Ken, now the phone lines are open, Ken. So call on the regular number. All right, it's ad time, but we'll wait for Ken.
Ken is really strict about that ad time.
Well, somebody's got to be.
I know. I know.
But it's funny though. I feel like going back to the paying your dues or coming through the ranks. I think sometimes you don't even realize that someone is doing that just because you don't hear about them playing local clubs. Like I remember Sebastian Maniscalco, I think when he was interviewed on the CBS Sunday morning show, and he had said that he was like waiting tables at some restaurant in LA, and then he would run down when he would write his name on the list, and then someone would call and say, okay, you're up on the open mic, and he would literally like, someone watch my table, I'll be back in 15 minutes, and he would go do 6 minutes, run back, and like he said, I did that for a while just to like try stuff out and just to see if I liked it, and so I think people can pay their dues too without you even knowing the whole backstory or what they were doing before. Even
after you hit it too, like again, going back to Joey Cola, he worked, he does warm up, for a lot of popular TV shows, and he did Rosie whenever he liked Rosie.
I remember that, right?
Yeah, and to this day, he says all the time that Rosie gets a bum rap. He said she is the most charitable person that he knows. Ken, why are you calling me on? Why aren't you calling the number, the studio?
I just posted there's an outage in central North Carolina for Verizon, so I don't have any phone service.
We just got it. Yeah.
My apologies. I didn't see it. Oh, you see the way? Why he's mad. I just posted.
And then,
Don't you know about the outage?
Look at the posting. It's capital AAAAA, capital RRRRR, capital GGGGG.
That would be ARG. He's
He's
a pirate.
I'm just really mad at them. It's rude.
It's rude.
I mean,
it's rude to have an outage.
Don't they know my unpaid internship responsibilities?
Right. They don't care.
How dare someone hit that pole and cause an outage?
All right, Ken, take it away.
So you're going to be able to, you got me held up to the microphone just like Jeff did it on Limo Talk. It worked. Are we good?
No, I got you hooked up. I answered your Facebook call on the iPad, which is hooked up to the board, so it's coming through nice and professional.
Oh my gosh,
we're doing something right for once.
We are smoothly ripping into ad time here.
well, wait a minute though. Who held the phone to the microphone?
When the phones were down a week or two ago, Jeff held the phone to the microphone.
Because when our phones are down. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
With Limo Talk. It was It wasn't great, but it worked okay. It was fun though, because people were like, where's that voice coming from? Who is that? I mean, they don't really know me very much yet anyway, so it's like, wait, what? Who is this? Where's it coming from?
Unlike here, where everybody knows you.
It's good to be in a place where everybody knows your name. Cheers, not a sponsor. But the real sponsors are coming at you right now. It is ad time. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Bella Vista Pizza. By the way, I tried to translate that into Italian, and Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta, all you have to do is change the and into e. Bella Vista Pizza e Pasta.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
What that
See.
means, what that means is it's so Italian already. I mean, forget about it. Bella Vista Pizza. For the best pizza in the whole wide world, check out Bella Vista Pizza. They offer thin crust, thin whole wheat, deep dish, and gluten-free pies, also pasta and baked dishes, calzones and rolls, heroes, entrees, salads, sides, and appetizers. Bella Vista Pizza. That Bella Vista part, remember, means a beautiful view, a beautiful sight. That beautiful view is located at 154 Minetta Hill Road in Plainview. That's 154 Minetta Hill Road in Plainview. 516-433-4464. That's 516-433-4464. BellaVistaPizza.com. Bambinos. Check them out today. Also follow them on Facebook at Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta. That's Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta on Facebook. On Instagram at Bella Vista Pizza LI. That's at Bella Vista Pizza LI on Instagram. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Gina Kangemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. That's Gina Kangemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. 631-495-7696. That's 631-495-7696. When you work with Gina, you tap into the collective experience of the best, most experienced realtors on Long Island. Contact Gina today to discuss how Signature Premier Properties and Gina can help you market and sell your property successfully or find your perfect home. More information about Gina's listings can be found at signaturepremier.com. That's signaturepremier.com. List your house with Gina, and she will work so hard for you and sell your house so fast, it'll make your
Head spin.
Nice. I have to apologize, Tony. I did not comment yesterday on how awesome you had the guest queued up yesterday.
That's
the
correct.
day before, I don't think, but yesterday, nailed it.
Tom was with us today, too, on that.
Yes, I noticed. Y'all were awesome, and
Sally
Sally's
prepped me. She
putting
said,
her
if you get
whole heart
nothing
and
right
soul
during the
into
show
it.
today, just
I won't
remember
make out with you and make you sick.
the head spin cue. Remember.
That is right. And of course, the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Knockem Dead Comedy. Knockem Dead Comedy for the funniest murder mysteries in the whole wide world. I offer you the disclaimer that these, in fact, are merely, by design, comedic murder mysteries. There is no harming of humans or animals or anything like that in the making of these yada yada.
They're not going to tell you someone was just killed in the parking lot.
That's right.
Right?
Oh, wait for it. It's coming right now. Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Do you want to see a boring murder mystery where some crusty old pea pants says, "There's been a murder in the parking lot of some character you've never met"?
Hell no. I like to see my murders firsthand.
You said no. That's good, because yesterday's guest. I mean, I know I'm caught up now. Yesterday's guest tried to stump me. I'm like, I got someone to go with you. He said, yeah, I want to see that. I'm like, you can go with friend of the show Joe DeJesu, who also always says yes.
That's right.
So.
Who's that?
Thank
Josh
you
Schaefer?
for saying no. I mean, think about that. A character you've never met. I'm like, really, Pops? Why don't you just keep that whole theory going there? That character was done in by another character you've never met. Awkward silence. This concludes our presentation this evening. Awkward silence. Enjoy your dinner. I mean, no way.
I would not want to see that.
I mentioned this
murder mystery.
yesterday.
No.
You want to do that? You need to Google crap murder mystery on Long Island. Well,
Are you allowed to say that word, Ken?
I did.
That's all right.
Sure.
It's a little shocking.
And I Googled it. And sadly, there was too much reality and not enough comedic murder mystery stories. It came back in that Google search. It was just really kind of depressing, so I just left it. So, to conclude, you do not want to go see one of those boring murder mysteries. You want the full experience. You want to meet and hang out with the character who ultimately and soon is going to comedically die.
That's right.
I mean, who doesn't want to lose a new friend? You want to see the comedic murder happen right before your eyes. You want to laugh, sing, and dance and be a part of the action at a Knockem Dead Comedy murder mystery show.
That's
on
right.
Instagram, follow at Knockem Dead Comedy. That's at Knockem Dead Comedy on Instagram for upcoming show dates. Check out knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. That's knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates, of which Tony will now provide you with more information.
You can actually check out Knockem Dead Comedy tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow at the Shelter Rock Library.
Tomorrow.
Over there in Manhasset. Eric will be hosting one of our Knockem Dead comedy game shows. It's an afternoon of fun trivia and some fun games. It's a lot of fun, and with Eric hosting especially, it's always just a blast. That's at the Shelter Rock Library in Manhasset. That's at 2 o'clock. It's an hour of trivia fun with Knockem Dead comedy. We have a lot of private parties coming up. Starting next week, I'll be giving out March dates. We have a few public events in March. And we'd also like to acknowledge our show last night. We've been talking about it for weeks here. Last night, we performed at 317 Main in Farmingdale. We had a great show. We sold the place out. And we will be adding another date there very soon. We're going to work that out with them next week. And we'll have a new date for you there. Just a great place. It was our first time there. Nice big room, great food. They treated everybody nicely. Even the cast was treated nicely. It was just a great time. I had a great show, great time.
Yeah, I loved it. It was
fantastic.
I thought it was great. I like the layout of the place.
Fun crowd. It was just a great time. So thank you for everybody who came to 317 Main last night. And I just wanted to share this one quick story about last night. Before the show started, the manager that was from the restaurant that was running things, she came up to me and she pointed at this lady that was sitting at a table, and this woman had a black baseball cap on. She said, whatever you do, make sure you tell your cast not to touch that woman, because we get people up to do stuff with us, and we have dancing and stuff. So our shows are audience interactive from beginning to end. So so it wasn't like don't touch her, like molest her or me to her. It was just don't touch her. This is her first time out. She's going through chemo. She's got a brand new wig, and this is her first time wearing it in public. So please, just make sure the cast knows not to mess with her. I said, okay, great, no problem. I tell the cast, and we go out there. We're doing our thing, and there's a part in the show in the middle where we have a conga line going. And I look over, and sure enough, I see this lady with the black cap right in the middle of that conga line. She's having a blast, big smile on her face. She's doing her thing. She's having a great time. So, and then actually, one part through the night, she actually took the wig off and was, and then got up again later on to do something else with us, and took the wig right off. Had no problem with it. So, I got to talking with her. Just as a former cancer patient, as a cancer survivor, I just went up to her and said, I'm happy to see you're up and enjoying yourself. And it was really nice. She said that she has brain cancer. She's been going through her treatments. Things are looking better, but she's not out of the woods yet. But she mentioned just how nice it was to be able to get out and laugh, and her daughters were with her. And it was the first time her and her daughters had been out for a while, dancing or just enjoying a night out instead of being worried or
That's really nice.
Going through that. Yeah. I don't really share stories like that very often because I don't like the risk of sounding corny. That made it worth it right
that
there.
was a genuinely nice story.
But that's the thing. It is. It's really nice, and it gives you that little slap of reality. And like we said before, it's not always about the money. It is a huge reason why we do what we do and why we're sitting here for no money because we.
I'm not getting paid for this.
I got you a candy cane.
All right.
Yeah.
And passes, right?
Oh, take.
Can I give some to Chris Thomas because he called in?
Take. I'm telling you right now, take at least half of that pack.
I'll take a few.
I have a cough loss.
No, take more than a few. Take a whole bunch.
Right.
They expire in April. So I have just as many. Take them.
The candy canes expire in April?
Well, here's the thing. Like you and I didn't even talk about that little situation. So let me, you're uncomfortable telling that story the way you told it. Let me tell it the way I saw it and the way it actually really happened. So, and
the way it really happened.
With the
Sallie's
lady.
about the. Yeah, she's gonna ask me. I just made the whole thing up.
So I'm doing sound, right?
Sallie's our stage manager.
They're doing the conga line. Everyone's really good about getting practically the entire room up to follow a conga line. It's a great part of the show. And so here's from my perspective what happened. I look over and we have a new cast member. Her name's Liz, and she was sitting with me because she hadn't seen a show before. So she's sitting there, and I saw him go over there, and I turned to her and I go, yeah, okay, so this is why I love Tony Walker. Watch this. And he walks over and he talks to her for a little bit. And then he puts his hand out, and then he brings her up from her chair. And the entire conversation that they had, he was slow dancing with her. And so I'm explaining to Liz, I'm like, this is the first time this woman's been out of the house. She has cancer. Tony's probably talking to her about that. And it was like, and she was like, Liz was like, tears in her eyes. And like, it was a lot more beautiful than you want to tell everyone. And you like made her a whole night. And I just thought that was like really cool. So
that's awesome. I like Sallie's version better than Tony.
Tony, I almost told you to shut up so that Sallie could tell her version because I knew it was going to be beautiful. And my goodness, I mean, in all seriousness, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and she was just like, you could just tell, like her face was just, it was like, just so thankful, It's like, because she was sitting there at a table because she didn't have the strength to get up, but she certainly had the strength to stand and slow dance and have a moment with someone who's gone through something that she's going through right now. So it was just really beautiful. Anyway.
So it was just nice. It's a nice, it's not always about the money, and it was just, you like to think you're entertaining, and you want to make people laugh, but it's just nice to get to hear those types of stories. So,
but it's cool to think how laughter and entertainment can take her mind off of things for that night, and like all the good that comes from things like that.
Right. And she said that you got to keep that smile on your face, and and that's what I told her from going through it myself. If it wasn't for, I have an extensive library of music and movies too, but mostly music. And if it wasn't for, I still love CDs. I love CDs and DVDs. I'm old fashioned that way. I have 6,000 CDs in at home, but. If it wasn't for playing music and watching a funny movie, that totally carried me through 9 months of chemo. Yeah, there's no social media
when
I was sick.
Sick.
There was nothing. Yeah.
So he was just stuck, laying there, hoping someone would call, and then you're too stuck to even answer the phone.
Yeah. So it definitely it does. It gets you through that stuff and laughing and stuff. So.
And then you feel uncomfortable. You're out. She clearly looks sick. She's fighting it, but. Like, I remember you told me this story one time. This is like the death show. But you told me the story one time where, like, you were out and about, and people kept, like, looking at you like, oh, you're going through that. And you're like, everyone kept looking at me like the guy who has cancer. I have the cancer, the guy who has cancer. And he said one time, he goes, and I'll never forget that, someone went up to him like, I know you, you're the guy. He's waiting for, like, the guy that has cancer. He's like, no, you're the funny guy. And he was like, what? He's like, yeah, I saw you, and it was like so funny. He's like, finally, like I've identified something other than the guy with the cancer,
right.
It like means so much because you're so much more,
Totally.
Ken Pichelle, super job as always. You were on fire today with the ad, so nice job, sir.
Thank you, but Tony?
Yes, sir. I'm not done.
Yeah, we have more. I mean, I was going to say we haven't gotten to the part of the ads where you talk and I say things like Levittown.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Bohemia.
Speaking of great comedy shows, don't forget all the great shows at Governor's Comedy Club this weekend. We have.
We kind of got to go with Ken. Ken, I'm sorry to like.
What?
Or actually, no, he's not even on. Okay.
What?
I put this on while he's doing the ads. Never mind.
I don't know what just happened. Speaking of great comedy shows, ladies and gentlemen, there's lots of great comedy shows at all 3 Governor's Comedy Clubs here on Long Island this weekend. This weekend, Big J. Okerson is right here at Governor's in Levittown. In the Little Room at Gov's in Levittown. Tonight is Terry McNeely with our friends Will Sharon and Three's Company's very own Tony Lindolfi and a host of other great comedians. Tomorrow night in the Little Room, Robin Shaw will be there. Robin was our guest on the phone yesterday. She's got an album out called Guilty Pleasures. She's one of my personal favorite comedians, so please go check her out. Megan Hanley will also be on. She's another great comedian. So go check them out tomorrow night in the Little Room. At the Brokerage in Belmore, ladies and gentlemen, Phil Hanley will be there this weekend. And McGuire's in Bohemia this weekend is Rich Aronovich. So go check out any of those 3 great comedy clubs, Governor's Comedy Clubs, all over Long Island. And don't forget to join Governor's mailing list because, in fact, even some of their shows this weekend are free. But you don't know about that unless you're on their mailing list. You can't get the codes to get your free admission if you're not on their mailing list. So go to govs.com to see their full schedule, to get tickets, and, of course, to get on their mailing list. Get on Knockem Dead Comedy's mailing list as well so you can keep updated on us, knockemdeadcomedy.com. And Don't forget our swag. We got mugs right there with the Govs Comedy logo on it. You can get mugs, you can get hats, you can get T-shirts, you can get anything you want. Maybe your favorite show logo will be on there as well. So go to teespring.com. The money's going to a very good cause. It's going to us. It's going to the
Govs Radio.
It's going to the radio station so that we can
Keep the lights on.
also keep the lights on and work on these programs and get more cameras and make this all look good. We have all sorts of plans, all sorts of things we'd like to do. So we're always working. We're trying hard to make this place great for you guys.
Make Governors great again.
That's right. We'll get those hats. And don't forget, if you have any suggestions, maybe a show idea or a guest idea, or if you'd like to advertise with Govs Radio, anything you'd like to talk to us about, you can contact us on our Facebook page or govsradio@optimum.net. Govsradio@optimum.net. On Facebook, it's usually me or Eric that gets back to you rather quickly, and govsradio@optimum.net is usually Gina, but she gets back to you quickly as well. We'd love to hear from you. Last but not least, Govs Comedy Club Radio, govsradio.com. Lots of great shows. New shows coming at you very soon. Lots of great stuff happening. Today is Friday. So the next show on Govs Radio is tomorrow at 11 a.m. A New Day returns tomorrow with, of course, their wonderful theme song written to us by our intern, Ken Pichelle.
Woo.
Wow. And then, of course, Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up tomorrow night. The big rounds continue with Don as we work towards the final grand prize of performing in the big room as a paid spot, no less. Frank Viola being one of the judges tomorrow.
Intern Sam will be engineering.
Intern Sam will be here tomorrow. That's right. It's going to be great as always. Enjoy that show. And don't forget, of course, Monday morning, the Long Island Breakfast Club show will be on at 9:30, followed by us. And then what's Monday night? The Wort?
I think it's the Wort.
Yeah, so no Steve Squared, no Jam until
I'm
the next
off.
week. Okay. Very nice. So go to govsradio.com and enjoy all the great shows. Don't forget, there's a new show coming in March, Comedians on Baseball. As we've mentioned, Eric is working on revamping and rebooting the hockey show. And there's all sorts of other great things in the works as well. So keep it locked. So once again, Ken Pichelle, thank you, pal.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, y'all. You're very welcome. I don't think I have anything witty to add, so I'm just going to clear out the old line here and listen to the second half of the show.
Cool. Thank you, pal. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Ken. Have a good weekend. Go Chiefs.
Y'all too.
All right, see ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so...
Yeah.
So what happened? Was it me?
So, no,
I sent you a... Yeah.
yeah. So
That's what it was?
But he's going to call back.
That was Big J. Okerson that you hung up on?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that? So let's talk again about the phone issues that Sallie has. You hung up on Big J. Okerson, headlining...
Well,
Governors
maybe
of
he was
Levittown.
trying to call also when you were like letting, Dennis say goodbye for the 18th time.
Oh, yeah? And you got messages then saying, hey, Big J was trying to call?
No, I did not.
That's right. Yeah. So try that again. See that? See how feisty she gets after, taking a week
You're so
off?
happy when you're right once in
After
like
she had
10
that long
years.
vacation.
That's right. Making other people sick with her tongue.
Stop making me cough. I only have 7 lozenges left.
So what do you? All right. So you have seen then so far with doing comedy. They've been friendly. They've been supportive.
Yes. Matter of fact, I see Jeff Bosey just started watching, or maybe came back on. But yeah, hey Jeff, I was saying how you were the one who turned me on to the Knockem Dead and actually all of Gov's shows.
Thanks, Jeff.
At Crabtrees.
So Bonnie is on. Bonnie, is it your the love of your life's birthday today? I think I got
Oh, is that right?
notice of that today. Yeah. So a happy birthday to your guy.
Very nice. Happy birthday. And how were the spin doctors last night, Bonnie? We'd like to get a full report. And I bet you Bonnie's now sick.
Oh, did you make out with Nooks and Crannies guy?
Oh, with his package?
Yeah.
Very nice. So yeah, we're looking forward to hear that went. So so they're all supportive. And so what do you think? So what are the plans? I mean, so you're going on Don's show.
Yes.
Which I mean, I don't think he's had anybody as
March 7th,
As
you said?
Junior, March 7th.
Okay.
as
So it's funny
fresh
because
out
he
as you.
said, he said, all right, I'll put you down for March 7th. And I said, all right, on my next open mic, I said, I'll find the least funny person, and that'll be who I'll ask to go up against for that show. But
He doesn't have anyone to go against you
I
yet?
don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. He didn't let me know yet, but he said, all right. He said, hold on to March 7th, though, for right now.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I think I'm on. We don't have a show that night, so I'll be working.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I like the format. I was originally thinking it was like, all right, you stand and deliver, and I didn't realize it was all the segments as I watched.
Yeah,
I watched Bonnie's show.
There's a lot going on in that show.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's really
it
cool. And the
flies.
Gagoots is really funny.
Yeah, Benny's
His
really
roasts
funny.
crack
Yeah.
me up, man.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like growing up as an Italian American, I should be able to have some fun with
Yeah.
his mustache and some other things there too. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
Good.
Now, do you would you consider yourself like a student of comedy? Like, do you? I mean, because you said that earlier, you like
Yeah.
to study what they're doing. So you have a lot of comedians that you watch, and you've studied the whole thing. But on the local scene too, or like watching specials on
Mostly
TV.
a lot of the specials that you guys have all seen or known. There's been a lot of comedians on recently talking about growing up with listening to Carlin or
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy and.
Right.
Yeah.
Richard Jenny was actually someone that I liked, and I don't know if my sister's still watching, but I remember watching his Platypus Man special 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and I thought he was really funny. Jackie, too. Actually, I had a chance to play golf with Jackie at a charity event for the Michael Magro Foundation.
Oh, wow.
I sit on the board of that foundation out of Hicksville. They help families affected by pediatric cancer.
Oh, wow.
The Magro family. So cheap plug, Terry, if you're listening or if you see this on
Yeah, it's
being
fine.
recorded.
Plug away.
Local. It's actually I grew up across the street from the Magro family, and they lost their son Michael. He was in Hicksville Middle School. It was 2004.
Oh, goodness.
To ALL, form of leukemia, and so we help local families affected by pediatric cancer. It's helping with co-pays and things like that. It's a really nice,
it takes your whole life over. Like
it's crazy, and
so much.
The way that they've been able to help families in their son's name and carry on his legacy is really nice. But I played golf with Jackie, and that was like a dream come true for me. So my friend Brett Fumara is he's the producer of the Roger and JP show on BAB.
Sure. Yep.
And I met him actually at Nassau Community College, and we've been friends ever since. And he's been in radio for a while, and he's introduced me to Jackie and said Jackie's been doing some of these charity events, and I think he might want to do something for the Magro Foundation. So he came,
Wow.
and it was just great hearing all these firsthand stories, and some of which he was talking about the other day. But yeah, no, I feel like watching even recently. I commented when I was watching the show maybe a week or so ago with the guy who just did The Great Depression. He's from Boston. Why can't I think of his name? Gulman. Gary Gulman.
Gary Goldman. Yeah.
I think he's very funny. He did a bit on Conan not too long ago. Well, a few years ago, actually. The other thing that I was going to mention is newer, but talking about when they abbreviated all the states and gave all the states the 2 letters.
Yes.
And I thought that was hysterical. And he's
Yeah.
talked a lot about finding $20 on a Friday and how it changed his whole weekend,
Yeah.
like in his jacket pocket.
Right.
And he did this whole thing because he's been battling depression, and they had an HBO special out now that you can find. And I think Brian Regan and some of those people that I feel like just really, really funny people.
It's Bonnie Scalise, I believe.
All right. But when is Jay calling?
I was hoping that he'd call already.
Oh, all right. Hello, Bonnie.
Hi, Tony. I know there's caller ID on the phone now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know it is cool, but it's sometimes it's a bad thing. So because sometimes people don't want us to announce their names, but.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to tell you both things you asked about. It is not my boyfriend's birthday today. It was last week. I don't know why Facebook has it today.
Oh.
So people are wishing him a happy birthday. I don't know. It was last week when I posted it. I posted about his birthday last week.
Because he wrote his wrong birthday down? Do you think maybe that's
I think he did that on purpose.
I'm just
yeah,
reaching here.
He purposely probably put that down because he didn't want people to know his real birthday and associate it with his name. Like he's trying to stay off the internet.
Yeah,
and I keep putting him on.
He's definitely wanted by the law, Bonnie. Be careful.
Okay, and then the Spin Doctors was funny. It was great, but at the end, first of all, there were all young, tall people there at the Brooklyn Bowl, and I'm short. So we got there late because we went to see Kristen at Governor's first, and I left early. I was supposed to ride in with Kristen, but she had a feature spot. And she couldn't leave. She ended up coming so late that she missed, like, I wanted to see that song, Two Princes. That was, like, the only song I know that they sing.
They usually do it at the end, though.
Yeah, but they didn't. They did some other song at the end. So she missed that song. And if I had waited for her, I would have missed it. Then I would have been upset.
Right.
But I went with Michael in a separate car, and we got there early, and we basically saw most of the concert. We only missed the very, like, maybe the very first few songs. And then at the end, you know how Mark is. He's not watching now, right? So I can say.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so we're standing at the stage at the end because a lot of the young people left when they got to the last song. They left, so I was able to get towards the front, and then the concert ended, and I'm kind of shy, so Michael yells out, "Mark, Bonnie's here!" So Mark looks down at Michael because he's on the stage now. We're like down below, so we're looking up at him. And he goes to Michael, "I've got eyes. I can see she's there." You know how he can be really obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
So then I was like dying of embarrassment, and then I think Kristen goes. Somebody said, like, you remember Bonnie? He's like, "Of course I know who Bonnie is." It's like, again, like what are you, stupid? So then I go, I wanted to take a picture with him. I go, "Can we take a picture?" And he was up on the stage, and he goes, first let me, because he was signing people's stuff. He goes, "First let me handle the people who paid, and then I'll come, and then I'll take a picture with you." So me and Kristen both yell out at him, "We paid for our ticket." Because we did. We paid money for the tickets. Not like somebody gave us the ticket.
Oh, is that right? You guys paid, and even they made Kristen pay when she got there that late.
Yeah, we had prepaid for the tickets.
Wow.
We bought them. Kristen bought them online months. When they first announced they were touring, we bought the tickets. So we paid for our tickets. So then he comes down and he said something else. I don't even remember, but he was being himself. And Tony knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and so he took a bunch of pictures. Oh, and then I go, "And that's my boyfriend." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't see that one coming." So I don't know what he meant by that. It was very funny, and I took a million videos of them. We were all the way in the back when the concert was mostly going on, but I was able to get a little clip of Two Princes, which Facebook wasn't letting me put up, and finally I got one up, so I was just happy that I got one up.
Yeah, I saw that today, Bonnie. It was a cool clip.
Yeah, I mean, at least it was my favorite song. I knew that if you try to tape anything longer than like 20 seconds, they're not going to put it up. At least that's my experience. So I kept stopping it, starting it, stopping it, starting it, and then I got one clip up, and that's basically it in a nutshell. So I just wanted to fill you in, and now I'll let you get back to your show.
Cool. Well, we appreciate the report there, on the spot report there. This Bonnie Scalisi live on. And
I'm glad that Sallie's feeling better, and
thanks, Bonnie.
And I had the immune system of 10 strong men. So Tony was sick in there, Mandy was sick in there, Sallie was sick in there, and I am still healthy and breathing.
Going strong.
He's still standing.
Good for you, Bonnie. That's right. Bonnie's a tough ninja. Don't mess with her.
Yeah, well, I've been around the kindergarten kids with sneezing on me for 32 years, so my immune system's very strong.
Yep.
All right, you guys have a good show.
You too, Bonnie. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was cool. All right. And Jeff Bosey saying, "Am I the only one whose favorite comedian was Foster Brooks?" Yeah. I guess he's kind of been forgotten, Foster Brooks. I would love to.
I don't even know him.
He was the guy who always acted like he was drunk. Older fella. No, huh?
No, sorry.
Oh, so funny. You know him.
No.
No, really?
No.
Wow. I'm surprised.
And
yeah,
he wasn't?
No, that was just his act.
Oh, you sure?
I mean, well, maybe, but that's what he was known for. But I can't even.
I think Dean Martin had that act too, right? Except he was drunk.
Well, yeah, but in fact, it's funny you mention that. There is a great scene on YouTube of Foster Brooks on the Dean Martin show.
Oh, really?
It is so freaking funny. Oh yeah, that's what this guy's whole act. He just kind of do one of these the whole time. I mean, I'm not even doing it justice. He was so funny what he did. Foster Brooks. Oh, highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, I mean,
long ago, like the Frank Sinatra era.
Well, it's funny. I mean, growing up as a little kid in the '70s, that's my only exposure to him was in the '70s, and he was old.
He was probably like 30 at the time.
Yeah, I mean, but I
he was old.
Right. He was all white hair, wrinkled, and a big white mustache. So he looked to me like he could have been in his 60s. Maybe he was 51 for all I know. But I mean, he's been dead, I think, since I'm going to say the 80s, I think. So he could have been up there at that. And I don't know anything about him prior. He could have been a famous comedian since the 20s. I really don't even know.
Yeah.
But I just remember this guy. He was always on, because back then, in the 70s was all those corny variety shows.
Right,
he was all over them. And just look him up. He's hilarious.
Foster Brooks. Let me see what it looks like.
Foster Brooks, like foster kid. Foster Brooks. I don't know why.
I know how to spell
that's
Foster.
a weird example. I could have said George Foster or Foster kid.
How else would you spell Foster?
Well, sometimes there's an R in there. Forster.
F-A-U.
No, I don't think I've ever seen him.
FAU. There you go.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen him. He doesn't look familiar at all.
No.
Let me see. Yeah, that's him. Yep.
Yeah, I expected to be like, oh, that guy.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
no.
like I've watched a lot of this stuff with
I don't think I've ever
Don
seen him.
Rickles,
I
era
love that stuff.
And
Yeah, there's a picture of him, the Dean Martin scene
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, Don Rickles is another one. I cannot get enough. Did you ever see?
Yeah.
Towards the end, I mean, I think it was literally just months before he passed. He was starting to do like a web thing, where he was just sitting in a restaurant and a famous comedian would come and sit and talk with him, and you could see. I mean, he looked bad, but he still had those zingers, man. He was still coming back at you. Absolutely.
You know what I like,
what a
and I don't know if
genius.
they still do it because I feel like with Netflix lately, at night when I'm getting ready for bed, like my wife and I will watch something, but now there's so much to watch.
Yeah.
So you just stick with porn?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The Tonight Show reruns with
really?
Johnny Carson. They were playing it like Antenna TV. It was like 114 or 1 something on Optimum. And I always love it because I feel like his monologue is just like a time capsule. He's talking about the, whatever's happening at the time. And it was,
that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
It's really cool because not only is it, some good comedy there and there was some good writing along the years, but I feel like it's a little time. It brings you back. It's like, 1982, he's talking about something with Reagan or whatever, right? And it's like it's a cool little time capsule. And it's always fun too to watch, the stories of the comedian getting asked to sit on the couch and who actually made the cut back then.
Yeah, he was talking about that like last week. It's just interesting, like who got to going. Gina, I did not make you sick.
Yeah, she did. Oh, Foster Brooks passed in 2001? Really? That's what Jeff says. Wow. But how old was he, Jeff? Wow. Tom remembered Rodney Dangerfield was your thing, says your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of seeing Rodney in the 80s at Westbury Music Fair. It was him and Bob Nelson opened up for him. What a great freaking show that was. And I think Rodney was one of those guys that I think the last 20 years of his life he was doing the same act.
Yeah.
Man, so hilarious.
Right,
man.
and that came up too not too long ago. I think on your show when you were saying how like he got such a late start, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
He was trying for so long, and then got a late start later in life.
Right.
He was performing under a different name, I think, at first, right?
Oh, really?
Or his real name, I think, and then took on Rodney Dangerfield after.
I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget the details on that. Yeah. Yeah. It's and even that same thing. Like I'm taking the comedy class here, and
yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Sure.
Because I feel like along the way that I thought that might have kickstarted something for me because I worked in the city for the last 15 years before now working from home a lot of my time. And I would feel like I'd see these shows that pop up all over the place at all these different clubs. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take one of these classes or an afternoon improv class or something.
Yeah.
And it never worked out timing-wise. It's hard having 3 young kids at home.
Yeah.
And, generally when work is over, I'm in a rush to get back home and things
Sure.
like that. But so how is the class going here?
I love it. I've only had 3 classes so far, and I've learned a lot already. I mean, I've never done stand up, so but I am surprised. Never done stand-up, but I've been doing comedic performing for over 25 years. So I didn't expect to learn so much so quick. It's already worth it. It's already worth it to me. 3 classes in. This week we had each student got up on the stage. We didn't. He didn't want us to try our act, but or even the joke ideas. He just wanted to know what you wanted to talk about. What are the topics that you're thinking of? So we just. But a lot of people went up there trying to, so the other day, this is, with the setup and the punch.
He was dialing it back to just talk to me about the topic.
Yeah, he didn't want to see an act. He wasn't even looking to be entertained. Just, what are you going to talk about? So I was actually the first one he called to go up there, which was kind of weird because it's a large class. There's like 16 of us.
Wow.
So he so what he's doing, he actually has made it. He's added an additional hour. The class is 2 hours a week, but he added an optional extra hour in the beginning. So the class starts at 6, but he told everybody if you want to come at 5, especially since it's a large class, so I have time to work with everybody. So I was one of 3 that got there at 5. So I'm the first one up there. So I have him, John Truson, the teacher, and 2 other people. So trying to discuss ideas, and then just quickly, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking if I say this about this. So I wasn't really doing a setup in my jokes, but I was telling them what I was thinking in regards to it. So I get maybe one person. I'm trying to make 3 people laugh, which is harder than a room full of people. So I wasn't feeling like, oh, is this funny? Is it not funny? Is it good? Is it bad? But by 6 o'clock, when we had the full class, certain people going up there to share their ideas, and they're getting, 15 people laughing. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, fuck, I wish he didn't pick on me first. I wish I didn't get here at 5.
Right.
Having said that, I'll be there Tuesday at 5 again because I'm trying to figure it all out. But
but why would that matter? Because, why would it matter?
Well, because there are a few people who are giving out ideas that they have, and, premises. And it was funny. Just some of their premises were funny. So they're getting that feedback, that validation of, oh, I should keep going with this, with this idea, where I didn't really get that. Although it did work out, though, because at the end of the class, everybody was leaving, and this one girl, one of the people that was there when I was up, she came up to me. She goes, I think you were really funny up there. You were great. I was, shit, I didn't even do anything. She said, no, it was really good. I was like, oh, okay, great. Thanks so much for telling me that.
It feels good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think with the Don Sill show that you're going to be on, they say that they're sitting here and they're working, and we're all just sitting here laughing, not laughing, and they say that it's a lot more difficult in here than on the stage. But I don't understand why it should be, because you're just working, you're just answering questions or saying what you want to say.
No, but
and it should come out how it would come out.
There's an energy in a comedy club. There's a vibe. Again, and the same thing with our murder mysteries and stuff. It's because when there's more people, that creates an energy on its own. Right there. And so people are expecting to laugh. They're coming in to have a good time. Here it's, a handful of people, and it's harder to create a vibe that way and that kind of atmosphere. When you have a handful of people like we do now, that's when we have discussions like this. And we laugh and stuff, but to have a comedy club type atmosphere in this, it's hard.
That was a stark contrast that I felt from Crabtree's a few weeks back to the Loft last night, where it's just all these dudes that are close in age to me or a little old, a little younger.
Right.
And I started off, I was going to say, wow, this is a good looking crowd. Anyone here on dates? That was what I was prepared to say, thinking it was going to be an audience like Crabtree's.
Right.
And there were people there on dates. So I said it in jest. I'm like, is any of you guys here on dates tonight?
That's funny.
It's probably funnier.
Maybe, right?
And that's part of the thing too. I think a lot of the comedians, they base their act, the jokes, when where to place certain jokes, certain things that they're going to say, based on a bigger crowd, a fun, energetic crowd.
Right. I think when you're thinking of writing something, that's what you're thinking in your head. Right. I've got this broad audience.
Right. So on Don's show, you're not going to somebody sitting here saying, "So how's everybody doing tonight?" Right. 3 people, having a great time. Thanks.
Right.
So it's tough.
Okay, here we go.
Way. Is that?
Yeah.
All right. Hello there. You're on the Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Who's this? Hello. Hello.
Oh, we hear you.
No, you don't.
I heard in here.
You heard me.
Oh, duh.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Is this Tom Galati?
Oh, here we go.
You're on the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Is this Big J Okerson?
Close enough.
So sorry for all the phone trouble.
What does that mean? Close
No,
enough?
no, it's not.
Oh, it's Jeff Bessie.
Jeff
Oh,
Bessie.
Jeff.
So I just want to chime in real quick.
Sure. And you
And then this is probably on the delay. The reason why it's harder to do it in front of like 4 people is because what happens is in a room full of people, laughter is contagious. So if you have 1 or 2 people that wind up that get the joke and start laughing, other people feed off that energy. When you got 4 people staring at you, waiting for something, it's a whole different energy.
Right,
That's
and
why
that's what it
it's more
comes down to.
difficult.
That energy that's contagious, right?
So it turns into where you're trying to tell a personal joke to a couple of friends, and it's not landing the same way.
Right.
You know, you don't
That's the
sound
reason
sick to
behind
me,
it.
by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why I was supposed to
That's much better.
I didn't know there was like a preference on how sick should sound.
So when were you with Sallie this week?
Yeah, is there like anyone in your life that isn't sick? I feel like everyone's sick.
Everyone's getting sick, and then I didn't even go on last night to
the
Corona Fest that was going on in there.
The Corona Fest.
But other than that, let me let you get back to your guests, and hopefully Big J calls back. I'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good weekend, pal. Bye.
See you soon, Jeff.
Ken Pichelle says if Foster Brooks fostered George Forster, then George Forster would become George Forster Brooks. If either or both were wearing Forster Grants, then all of this would be further complicated. That's great.
Here's the thing, though, like with you, because you're an actor, and it doesn't seem to matter to you. Like if you're doing like a role, why would it matter how many people are out there? Like, because you just like pop right into character of whatever you're doing, and I've seen you do it. Like one time, like because like the whole acting thing is like bizarre to me. Like one time he had to do like a reel, like make a a thing to send to someone to be in a movie, and he actually got the job. But we're in the living room, and I forget what happened. Like the camera got knocked over, the this, the that. Like the dog's barking while he's trying to do. He's like, yeah. He's like, all right. And I'm like, do you need like a moment before we start? Because he had to do a scene. He's like, no, just stop. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, And I like hit the button, and he's like, it's like perfect. Like I'm like how do you do that? Like how do you? Also, it would take me. After that, it would take me like 20 minutes just not to want to kill someone.
Compose yourself.
And it was like, boom, right in a character. So I would think like, why would it matter?
But is it different
If you're on
because the movie
stage.
theater, and I would like to see your show one day, is it because it's an interactive thing, right? So I would imagine with your show, you're feeding off of that same energy in the room and like, all right, can everyone say whatever? Versus getting up and doing a soliloquy from Othello or something, right?
That's absolutely right. When you're doing a monologue, or it doesn't matter
if it's 1 people
because
or
you're
1,000
just doing
people,
a
right?
scene.
Yeah.
But with comedy, with the type of the dinner theater we do, you're relying on a big, energetic crowd. And it's funny. Just this morning, Eric called me. A woman wants to hire us to do a murder mystery for a private party of 15 people. That's it.
That's rough.
And
doing that.
Right. So and she only wants it an hour. Normally the shows are closer to 2. And she was hoping to get a better deal on the price and stuff because it's only for an hour. And it was a night that we really don't have anything, and nothing's even penciled in. So we're like, screw it. Let's just take the job, and we'll get make some money and have fun. And it's local, so it's not like there's traveling expenses either because we travel all over the place. But. So we said that. So, we can easily give her an hour because it's only 15 people. Like, we don't have to make too many cuts.
Right.
Because with a bigger crowd, there's more people interacting with us. There's more ad-libbing because we're bouncing off of them. There's more people to joke around with. And there's 6 people in our cast. So now you're only talking, double
more than.
Right. So we only get 2 people per actor,
Right.
So there's not going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, you're right.
Ad-libbing that takes up a lot of time. There's not going to be a lot of that crazy energy and hysterical, where we have to stop for 30 seconds because they're laughing so hard.
Right.
We're going to have a great time. We've done parties like that before. In fact, I'll never forget it. We once did a family party in a restaurant, an Italian restaurant right across from Farmingdale College, from SUNY Farmingdale. I can't remember the place, still there. But we thought we were going. We knew it was a small crowd. It was one family
Over by Changing Times.
Yes, that same strip.
Yeah, well, I was at a party there once. I can't think of the name of it.
Nice Italian, good food.
Yep.
But we thought we knew it was only 15. Actually, I think it was 15 or 16 people. We knew that, but we thought we were going to have a private room. Turns out, we walk in and they just had a table. We're actually performing for one table of 15 in the middle of this restaurant. So now basically everybody else got a show.
Right.
But I think they're about to lock us in here. What's going on?
I hope not. I have to go to the bathroom soon.
Yeah, me too. I'm starving too.
I brought carrots if you want.
Oh, did you?
Carrots, yeah.
But we had, so we just catered to this one table. We had a blast. They were a fun group and we had a good time. But so we'll have a good time. But again, we knew there weren't going to be a lot of cuts to make because we know it's just not, for that small of a crowd. And I think even out of the 15 people, I think they said like 5 of them are kids, 2 of them are under 3 or under 5 or something.
Usually,
so they're not even
like
going to be paying
like,
attention.
Right.
What's your favorite? Like just like aside from like money or how many people, how much money you make per head or something. Like just is it like I like
My
to do
favorite
like
what?
Like the groups of people you like to do it for. Like I like 75 to like 125. I think that's like the perfect. We've done 300.
Right.
But I
No,
just
yeah,
like
that's about
that
right.
amount.
Yeah, that's about right because it's enough to have a wild, energetic,
Yeah.
fun crowd, but it's not too much that we have trouble containing them and keeping their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see that here all the time too. And I always feel bad for the comics because, they're here on the weekend, and a lot of people are drinking. They're always competing. But whether it's just a small amount of people that are talking throughout or a couple of tables, you always have that here. And it's, in fact, last night I did that. I yelled at one, because at one point towards the end, there was a small group of maybe 4 or 5 or 6. They were drinking, they were starting to feel it. And it was towards the end, so they'd been there for a while, so they were just talking amongst themselves, but they were loud, and we were competing. And I actually stopped and, shut up! And
Sorry
everybody
about
laughed.
that, by the way.
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize we
I knew you
were
looked
being so
familiar.
loud.
That was the actual thing. Damn it. Yeah, so that's about right. Anywhere from 75 to 125,
That's
I think,
what I like.
is a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but you're gonna keep going then. You're gonna.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the toughest balance for me personally is going to be just managing the home life too.
How old are your kids?
My
10. You
daughter, my
said.
daughter just turned 10 last Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you. And I have twin boys that are 6.
Oh, nice. Oh,
So,
so you got young guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I often say that my boys are like having like 2 monkeys or like 2 orangutans, like literally.
Yeah.
And my daughter's like having an old cat. Like she's just like she'll sit on the couch and be on her iPad and
The human cat.
and my boys are literally just like bouncing off of each
Boys
other
are
all the time.
nuts at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
nuts.
But like I feel like once a week is a reasonable thing. And my wife and I try to trade off on things. She'll have her yoga one night, or she'll want to go out and get a glass of wine or 7 with
Sexual
her friends.
partners.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was the date night I was telling you about, right? Yeah. Matter of fact, that was another funny thing too, where Tom Farrell mentioned using that as a callback because I said something later on at the end of my of my routine, and he said maybe you could say and then I turn around and my wife's there on her date night with my next door neighbor or something, something
Yeah.
like that,
That's right.
which I
That's
thought was a
great.
good way to bring the call back in, and it's also very funny too.
Yeah. Right.
But so I think that might be the toughest thing because normally I'll like float it by my wife and say, hey, this Thursday or Friday do you have a preference if I was to do one or the other? Because right now I'll go to there's a neighborhood bar in Northport that I like to go to, the Lark. I'm up on the wall. They had this beer club thing where you have to drink 100 different beers.
Oh, cool.
In one night. No, I'm just kidding. And so and that was the other thing. I tried to balance it because there's a lot of like neighborhood parents that'll go there, and there's 1 or 2 dads that are up on the wall, and they have the date that you started and the date that you ended.
Oh,
and it
that's
starts
cool.
off as 50 beers that are like U.S., and they have a great tap list of local IPAs and things like that, like Sand City.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I want to find that delicate balance because if it's too short,
Yeah.
you'll be like, all right, I guess
don't
you're
wanna
never
feel like
home,
a
Tom.
weekend. Yeah.
Dad, Tom's winning Dad of the Year because he's at the Lark, 4 days a week.
And that is a big downside. Again, been doing this 25 years. That is a big downside. Trying to balance out
Yeah.
when when you're going to be home, when you're going to see them. I mean, I maybe it bounces out for some of these guys if they're doing it full time because they're home during the day, so they're home to get the kids off. They're home when the kids get back, but.
And that's helping now too with working from home.
Yeah,
when I was
because
in
you
the city,
see them. If you were in the city, you wouldn't see them, and then you'd be on stage missing them.
Right. So I would get home at 7
Maybe
o'clock
not the monkeys, but
right. My daughter, I would miss.
Yeah.
And my favorite of the twins.
Yeah, that day.
I'm not going to say which one it is, but
because it changes every day.
It does change, but yeah, no, and like when I was in the city, but now it's I'm taking the kids to school in the morning,
right?
And many days I don't mind cooking. Many days if I drop them off, I'll run to IGA or whatever and. Tell my wife, I made chicken cutlets tonight or something. And she's like, that's great. I don't have to worry about dinner tonight. And, and then we have that balance. So I feel like that helps the nighttime, too, a little bit. Of, hey, I'm going to grab some beers at the lodge to watch the Islander game or something. And,
right.
You get that give and take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of Islander game, Eric, like we said, he's going to be starting Comedians on Hockey back up. He's already mentioned he wants to see if you'll come join him one day on
I would love that. Yeah, actually, I was going to mention that before when I saw him. He made a comment and he said, I like your guest hat.
Like your hat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't get to meet him because I like it. You watch a show for a while and you feel like you get to know people.
Yeah, but you'll be very disappointed in person.
You won't feel that way for long.
You should have seen him last night for our murder mystery. He because he normally plays one role. Last night he was playing a different role. He was playing the role of almost like a
mobster.
Yeah, like a mobster basically. So but he doesn't. He's not that in real life. He doesn't even look that in real life because he's not. He claims there's a small percentage of him Italian, but I don't believe him.
He's like Nordic.
Yeah, but he worries about the way he looks playing that role more than I do. I don't think it's a big deal. We're not Shakespeare. We break character constantly through the shows because we're joking around with the audience. It's all slapstick, tongue in cheek.
Like he feels because he has blonde hair. People won't believe him. Like who
Could
cares?
be a Northern Italian mobster.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So he shows up last night with like this. I don't know, like a dark. It wasn't even black. It was like a dark gray, like charcoal color. No, he colored
dyed
it.
his
Oh,
hair.
really?
He colored it. It looked ridiculous. I got there early to set up our sound equipment and stuff, and I walk out to my car to get something, and I see a guy walking towards me, but I noticed the hair immediately, and so I actually just kept doing what I was doing, and all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, because he showed up in his costume.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know that costume. So I look again, and I realize it was him. I just busted out laughing immediately. I didn't even say anything because he's so pale. That's what I said to him. I said, you look paler now because he had the dark hair. So all I saw was this white face. I couldn't even see a face. I just saw white and this darkness. Oh, it was freaking funny. I thought he looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that works for the show. So, and he said it washes out easy. He's already out, he said. But I thought that was hysterical.
He washed that man right out of his hair.
Right.
Ken Pichelle says, comedians on wrestling, on lacrosse, and of course, Ken Asta. Oh, those were the jokes yesterday, Ken. You were doing so well today. Good show. Have a great weekend. You too there, Felix. That's Felix from Let's Eat Long Island on Thursdays at 1:30. Yeah, so all right, so you're still trying to figure that out. And what's your plan? To just keep going with the open mics? You feel it's helpful for you?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm learning, along the way. Like even in my job, I used to help the people that were on my team, salespeople, help them present. And so you put up a few PowerPoint slides and you're presenting for a meeting.
Yeah. Sure.
I love to offer critique. And, we kind of set this whole culture of, there was a book called Radical Candor by Kim Scott, one of a former Google executive, where it's almost like we've all given each other permission to offer constructive criticism. Like even Tony Robbins he would always ask for 2 positives and 1 negative because people are afraid to give, you were terrible or you stuttered, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been doing that for a while, that I actually enjoy trying to figure out how I can say something a little better and be more succinct because I've been practicing that in my professional life for a while. So I feel like now it's kind of trying to call on that to make that better.
And doing that with the career you've had, I would think that probably helps you as far as presentation. You don't have this fear of being in front of people.
Right.
Right.
So that's again half the battle right there.
And the 2 times that I went, that's been the underlying feedback that I've received. People are like, wow, you seem really comfortable. And DB Frick said that too. He goes, this isn't the first time you've gotten up and spoken. Or this isn't the second time.
But it's so funny, like just the callback to the once you've been a waiter, you're never afraid to talk in front of public.
Right.
Because you're just so used to standing in front of people talking. It's like those little early skills, and then you just honed it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, there we go. It is 1 o'clock. We thank you, Tom Galati, for hanging out with us
so
today. It was
much
a
for
lot of fun. We thank you guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. Who are you rooting for? Or you don't care?
The wings and beer.
Exactly.
Not
Same
a big
here.
football fan, but that's what I'm looking forward to the food.
Yep. Food and the commercials. Yep. What about you? Are you rooting for anybody in particular?
Well, Chiefs, just because it means so much to
Steve
people
Belanger.
I care about. Yeah.
Did you get him sick this week? Great show, everyone says. Christine Galati.
I hope not, because he's got that, like, he gets, like, all weird about germs and stuff. So if I
Yeah,
actually
true.
gave him a cold, like, he wouldn't even, like, shake your hand. He just kind of, like, throws his, like, elbow at you. I'm like, you don't even need to do that. Just go in the other room.
Wow, you have a great relationship with your sister, huh?
I do.
She's been praising you all day here.
Well,
Very-
and, you know,
very
and
fortunate.
not for nothing, but, like, I checked out your Facebook when we became, like, friends, and, like, people adore you. Like, it's not even, like, your sister. It's, like it's, like, love, 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 love. Like, it's, like, so, like, like, we got to know you before I even got to know you.
So
Because,
Tom
like,
will be sick on Monday.
people really care about you, you know? So
Yeah.
you must be, like, you're one of the good ones, you could tell.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'm fortunate to have a lot of friends and family around and very
Yeah.
supportive and good people. So
And I think Hicksville has a lot to do with it. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
I mean, our sponsors
Good
are all
people come
Hicksville
from
people.
Hicksville, right?
Absolutely.
Mr. Mandel,
Mr.
Yep.
he
Mandel.
raised us all.
Not me. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Again, enjoy A New Day tomorrow at 11 a.m. Enjoy Don tomorrow night at 7. Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. The Breakfast Club is on Monday morning at 9 a.m.